Casemiro used to be in there. Tchouaméni, quicker, faster, obviously doesn't have the experience of Casemiro, but has started well at Real Madrid.
Yeah, he's a top player, and Real Madrid, when they signed him, were obviously denying the future and maybe, that replacement for Casemiro further down the line. I don't think they expect it to be as quick, but he's a top player, fitting into a team that are very efficient. They know how to win games. Celtic will have to beat their best, but the fans, the noise has been absolutely incredible.
Here we go, whistle blows. Sandro Scherer, Swiss referee, gets us underway. Celtic pressing immediately, not the best back pass from David Alaba. Few nerves maybe. Courtois quickly out to the edge of the area and clears it away for a Celtic throw. Chelsea beaten in the 5:45 kickoff against Dinamo Zagreb this evening. Early chance for Celtic. Abada just wide with his right foot, took a deflection, goes behind for a corner. Celtic are on it straight away.
It's an incredible start. Look, they're going to take the corner quick as well. First of all, Giakoumakis pressing Courtois into the throw-in. They throw it quick. Nice little interplay between Giakoumakis and Abada. Gets his shot away and it's deflected. Dream start for Celtic. I know it's early, but that's exactly how they would have wanted to start the game.
It's what they do domestically. It's what they did to Rangers on Saturday in the 4-0 win. Too quick, too sharp, inventive, but so precise with it as well. Ange Postecoglou said opportunities like this come around very few times in a lifetime. Why limit yourself? Why stop doing what you've done to get here? That's what Celtic are going to do tonight, and they've won themselves another corner. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0, bedlam inside the stadium.
And on the flip side of that, it comes out, they recycle it back, it goes back to Jens, it comes into McGregor, it's round the corner to Hatate, it's out to Taylor. All the while Real Madrid are putting pressure on, they just can't get near at the minute.
Minute and a half played in the game. Corner comes into the penalty area, nearly fell to Abada again, just rolls gently into the arms of Thibaut Courtois off a couple of deflections. So his 10 outfield teammates all in black. Thibaut Courtois is in sort of cherry red this evening, away to our right hand side. Borussia Dortmund have beaten FC Copenhagen by 3-0. Chelsea beaten 1-0 away to Dinamo Zagreb. They're at home to Red Bull Salzburg next week. Already a bit of pressure on that fixture for them, and as we were hearing, England's women already 3 goals to the good against Luxembourg in the World Cup qualifier. Commentary continues over on 5 Sports Extra. Abada, 2 goals against Rangers for the young Israeli on the weekend. Plays it into Matt O'Reilly. Good first touch. Modric darts in to win the ball back for Madrid. They try and play out inside their own half. As soon as they get possession, you hear the cheers and the whistles. And Vinicius Junior, the scorer of the winning goal against Liverpool in Paris in May, flicks it back to Courtois. Real Madrid will not be hassled. They will not be harried. They're going to take their time.
Yeah, of course they will. Hugely experienced side. Top level players within the top team, and they know how to win games, they know how to deal with teams that press and teams that try and force mistakes. You see them now, they're just knocking the ball about, almost goading Celtic into making that break so they can go and exploit it. Hugely experienced side, they will not be fazed by the start that Celtic have had.
Great build-up from Real Madrid from the back. Tchouaméni's ball into Modric, quickly flicked onto Valverde on the right-hand side. Benzema making ground in the middle. Carter Vickers has it covered, comes in, volleys it away with his left foot over the head of Jota. He leaps to try and win the header. Carvajal is back there. Celtic might win this on the halfway line, try and build again. Jota couldn't quite find Giakoumakis. Matt O'Reilly, the 21-year-old, comes hurtling forward to press Courtois. Alaba under pressure, but Real Madrid very coolly, quick passing, play it out from the back, and Ferland Mendy, the left back, has Vinicius Junior running towards him, tries to flick the ball beyond Juranovic, gets lucky with the rebound. Vinicius Junior on the way, moving at speed. Juranovic gets a foot in, half stops him. Vinicius Junior again, and then Juranovic is a bit rash, comes through the back of him and concedes an early free kick.
Yeah, it's really rash. You're absolutely spot on, Ali, by Juranovic. He gets down initially, he does well to get back. Carter Vickers comes over and covers and forces him back the way towards the sideline. Juranovic doesn't have to make the challenge, and now they have to go and defend this wide free kick.
Vinicius Junior on the halfway line tried that turn that he did on Fernandinho against Manchester City last season, if you remember, got away and scored the goal. And Juranovic, you could almost feel the panic from here. He felt he had to deal with it. Well, he's conceded the free kick. 4 minutes gone at Celtic Park. Sevilla Manchester City underway. As far as I'm aware, that's still 0-0. Conor McNamara will continue to bring us updates of that one. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0, and the referee Sandro Scherer just making his presence felt before this free kick. He's bringing young Moritz Jens, the German centre-back for Celtic, out from the middle, as well as, I think, Eder Militao, Real Madrid's Brazilian centre-back. They were having a bit of to and fro, pushing and shoving. Jens marking him at the far post. Free kick taken by Kroos. It's driven deep. Valverde takes a touch, curls a cross in towards Alaba, headed away. Abada with a second header, and there's the little graceful elfin figure of Luka Modric. Controls it, plays the pass, and Real Madrid come back into their own half. So Celtic have Joe Hart in goal, Juranovic, Carter Vickers, Jens and Greg Taylor as a back four. Callum McGregor, the skipper, at the base of midfield. Matt O'Reilly and Rio Hatate either side of him. Leo Abada and Jota are the wingers, with Georgios Giakoumakis as the centre forward. Kyogo's on the bench. Sevilla against Manchester City underway. Here's Conor McNamara.
Yeah, and it's still Sevilla 0, Manchester City 0. We've played exactly 6 minutes. Erling Haaland's had a touch and he didn't score with it, which the way he's been playing lately feels like worth pointing out. The City centre forward waiting for more service to come his way, but it's mostly defending City have had to do so far. Papu Gomez has looked good for Seville. It's Sevilla 0, Manchester City 0.
Best pass of the night from Rio Hatate has found Jota wide on the left hand side. Couldn't find Greg Taylor on the overlapping run. Real Madrid have the ball back inside their own half. Modric, little shoulder shake from him, flick with the outside of his right foot, plays it across his penalty area to the Austrian international David Alaba. Ferland Mendy, the left back to Courtois inside his own 6-yard box. Militao, side-footed pass out to the right-hand side, and Real Madrid are able just to release that pressure and bring the ball forward to the halfway line. Paris Saint-Germain have scored early on against Juventus. PSG 1, Juventus 0 in one of the 8 o'clock kickoffs this evening. You can listen to our commentary tonight, by the way, here at Celtic Park, alongside the final score graphics and the video printer. You can do that via the BBC iPlayer, the red button and the BBC Sport app. Just click on 5 Live final score. Mbappe with the goal for Paris Saint-Germain. So we're watching Benzema. Haaland's in action tonight. Mbappe has scored. The Champions League is back with a bang, as the Celtic fans were saying. Celtic and Rangers both a part of it. Commentary on Rangers in Amsterdam tomorrow, away to Ajax at 5:45. A lot of patient Real Madrid build-up at the moment. I'll give you their full team lineup when we get our next break in play. More thoughts from James McFadden as well, who was with Rangers a couple of weeks ago in the Netherlands and watched them beat PSV Eindhoven by a 0-0 to make it into the group stages. Cross in to the edge of the box here, header away from Jens. Jota with a second header. Modric is there, just leaps up in the air, cushions a pass down the right to Carvajal, back to Modric. First time ball does reach Toni Kroos. Not sure that was the intended target. Real Madrid having a lot of early possession, James.
Yeah, as you would expect. You know, they're not going to be phased, although the atmosphere has been absolutely terrific. They will not be phased by the atmosphere. They won't be phased by the fact that Celtic are going to try and put them under pressure. And in actual fact, Celtic are just dropping off and maybe looking to pick the moments to go and press and put Real Madrid under pressure, but they won't be phased. They've got too many good players, too many top players comfortable with the ball. Even if they're in trouble, you know, you've seen it early. Vinicius had nothing on, he clips it back to Courtois, they go out the other side and they get that break. So yeah, they will be patient, and it's something that Celtic are going to have to deal with, because not a lot of teams, certainly domestically, will do that to Celtic.
It's the fascinating, really fascinating thing about this evening. Celtic so rampant at the start of this season domestically, 29 goals scored, just the 2 conceded, both against Ross County. But how will it translate to the European stage? It didn't last season. That was a different Celtic team. Leverkusen were 4-0 winners here. Bodo Glimt knocked them out of the Europa Conference League on a disappointing night for Celtic. Vinicius Junior's gone down easily, claiming he was whacked in the face. Celtic on the high press. Alaba plays it quickly back to Courtois. Courtois again getting the wolf whistles from the fans, sweeps it away with his left foot. Ferland Mendy, now that was an elbow, it looked like, in the face of Giakoumakis, and the referee blows his whistle and then with the finger just beckons Mendy towards him. I think Carlo Ancelotti, James, is complaining about the previous one they felt on Vinicius Junior. Yeah,
Callum McGregor has stepped across Vinicius and it goes down. Referee was right in the spot, decides not to give it. And that one with Mendy, he is running up the line, he puts his arm out almost to fend Giakoumakis off. He doesn't swing it, but it catches him in the face with the arm right in front of the referee. 4th officials down there as well. I think it's a correct decision, and Carlo Ancelotti's obviously going to be claiming for it, of course he is.
Yeah, he looks on with one eyebrow raised. That will not surprise you to hear that. Been there, seen it, done it, as Carlo Ancelotti. Gary Flintoff's seen another goal for England's women against Luxembourg. Gary.
Yep, 4-0. Rachel Daly, far post, clever header down past the keeper. England 4, Luxembourg 0.
Commentary over on Radio 5 Sports Extra. Mendy got the yellow card. He's on the ball now for Real Madrid. Plays it up to the edge of the Celtic box. Carter Vickers was able to step in front of Benzema, who has so often plays with that right wrist strapped in the white bandage. Jota chests the ball down on the halfway line for Celtic. So they're in the green and white hoops, white shorts, hoop socks, playing from left to right towards the Lisbon Lions stand in this first half. Juranovic urged on by the fans, plays it to Matt O'Reilly, tries to give it back to him. It goes through Juranovic's legs. Here's Abada on the right hand side to try and keep the momentum going for Celtic. Callum McGregor plays a little 1-2 with Greg Taylor, slides the pass forward. O'Reilly into Atate, nearly finds Giakoumakis. Alaba is there to clear for Real Madrid. That is exactly what Celtic try and do to their opponents. It very nearly came off.
Very nearly did, but now they have to go and defend, and that's the speed of Real Madrid's counter.
Vinicius Junior now looking for the 1-2 with Benzema, gets it back to Vinicius Junior inside the penalty area, 7 yards up from the byline, cross to the back post. Benzema tries to hit the left foot volley, Modric with the left foot volley, that's blocked. Comes back to Vinicius Junior, takes one touch, and he's going to have a little run at Juranovic. Tries to take Juranovic on the inside. Celtic win the ball back with Abada. Abada thinks about dribbling out of the penalty area. Modric closes him down. Real Madrid just starting to suffocate Celtic at this point in the game. 11 minutes gone in the first half. Tchouaméni is 30 yards out. Plays it across to Valverde in a central position. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0. Live from inside Celtic Park. You can listen to us on 5 Live, also available on the BBC Sounds app tonight. Tchouaméni, little diagonal ball into the edge of the Celtic box, cleared on the volley, only as far as Mendy on the right hand side. Here's Toni Kroos, Kroos to Modric, Kroos curling pass out to the left to Mendy. Celtic with defending to do at the moment. Modric is on the ball in the inside left channel, teases one inside to Benzema. Benzema gets the back heel from Vinicius Junior. Juranovic slides in, clears it behind for a corner. Gary Flintoff seen another England goal. Gary.
Yep, 5-0. Beth Mead with the snake hips, past 2 defenders, slotted past the goalkeeper. England 5, Luxembourg 0.
Dinamo Zagreb 1, Chelsea 0, a result in the Champions League this evening. PSG 1 up on Juventus. Borussia Dortmund beat FC Copenhagen by 3-0. Real Madrid have a corner here at Celtic Park. It's Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0. Toni Kroos pauses, takes a breath, jogs towards the ball. High curling one to the far post. Foul in there, tug on the shirt. Celtic take the free kick quickly, of course they do. And here they come on the counter. Abada in acres of space on the right hand side. Jota tries to find him. He might have done it as well. Abada with the right foot shot, hits it straight at Courtois. What a chance, James McFadden.
Oh, it's a huge chance, and you're absolutely spot on. O'Reilly I'll come back to you because Real Madrid are countering again.
Incredible stuff, end to end. We thought it might be Vinicius Junior. Couple of step overs. Here's Benzema, edge of the Celtic penalty area, looking for that curler into the top corner. Closed down quickly, so couldn't hit the shot. Back it comes to Modric. Modric side foots a little ball to the young French international Tchouaméni. Back to Modric, who'll be 37 on Friday. He's overhit the pass, very unlike him. Carvajal can't control it. James.
Yes, well, the corner came in. Referee blew for a free kick. Celtic, as they do, played it quick. Matt O'Reilly's breaking just up the left hand side, and it's easy for us to see. We can see if he reverses it, Abada's in. He chooses to go to Jota, who could obviously see Abada. He plays a ball just inside the shoulder of Ferland Mendy, and Abada's shot is just tame. He doesn't catch it.
That noise means Celtic pouring forward. Abada's got that wrong, unfortunately. Juranovic passed it out to the right. Abada side-footed it. I think he was looking for the cross to Giakoumakis, and he slightly sliced it into the side netting.
Yeah, again, it's good play. Celtic breaking at speed. Juranovic just waiting for his moment to play Abada in. He's got O'Reilly, he's got Giakoumakis, he has Jota in the box. I think he's just trying to bend it round that last line of defence. He just gets it all wrong, comes off the inside of his foot and into the side net. And it's a couple of times now where he's had opportunities, particularly with that shot that I've just spoken about. He had a chance to maybe take a touch,
yeah,
and it looked like he tried to go for power and just didn't get it. And then that one there, it's a great opportunity for Celtic to put a ball across, their trademark move if you like, and he just gets it wrong. But it's still encouraging they're getting these opportunities.
Celtic have made a good start to this game. They've won the ball back off Real Madrid inside the Real Madrid half, looking for a free kick for the challenge on Jota. O'Reilly gets the ball, advantage possibly played, not going to come back for the free kick. Chouameni is able to bring it away for the European champions. Vinicius Junior, he's in the mood this evening, fancies a run at Juranovic again, this time stops in his tracks, plays it infield to Chouameni, now clips one forward. Carter Vickers reads it brilliantly. Benzema was making the run behind him. Celtic have the ball back inside their own half. 15 minutes gone, Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0. Celtic look confident, James, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And the game, I know we're really early in it, has lived up to what we expected. Celtic are trying to attack. Of course, it's not all-out attack. They're trying to put pressure on at the right moments. And Real Madrid, when they break, the pace that they break it is phenomenal. They've got so much control when they win the ball back. But you look at Celtic now, they're just knocking the ball about. They're waiting for the opportunity, and how they build up as the two centre-backs split the width of the 18. Callum McGregor drops, you've got the two full-backs that join in, and then Hatate and O'Reilly join in with the front three of Abada, Giakoumakis and Jota, trying to entice that press so they can then change the tempo and turn it into an attack.
Juranovic looking for Giakoumakis, goes down inside the penalty area. Eder Militao was wrestling with him. Referee had a good view of it. Probably 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. Celtic fans don't like the decision, and then fell on Mendy, sort of bought a free kick down by the byline. He waited for the challenge from Matt O'Reilly, who came gently into the back of him. Down he went. And Real Madrid will have a chance to clear their lines. That wasn't a penalty, was it?
Yeah, I would like to see it again, but there is a bit of wrestling going on. I think you're right, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. And Giakoumakis, you always look at the player's reaction. He does go down, he's straight back up to put pressure on. He obviously didn't feel it was a penalty, and he just got on with it. But that was again Celtic just knocking the ball about, waiting for that opportunity, and then it's put round the corner to Giakoumakis, who will be a handful because of his work rate, because of his physicality. And they just can't keep it alive in that occasion.
Real Madrid taking an age actually to take this free kick. Alaba chips it forward, Chouameni heads it towards the halfway line, absolutely no one there, and Ancelotti just throws his arms up in disgust at that. Celtic have the ball back again. Don't forget, Real Madrid did actually lose 4 games in the Champions League last season on the way to winning the title. One of those at home to Sheriff Tiraspol in the group stages. Also lost to PSG, Chelsea and Manchester City in the knockout stages. RB Leipzig 1-0 down against Shakhtar in this group. Cross into the Real Madrid penalty area, headed away. Carvajal is well forward for the visitors, but Celtic have enough bodies to win it back. Callum McGregor plays a little 1-2 with Rio Hatate. Brilliant to have the Champions League group stages back on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. 2 more commentaries coming your way tomorrow. Ajax against Rangers kicks off at 5:45. Napoli against Liverpool. Our commentary at 8 o'clock. Mark Chapman presenting from 5:30 tomorrow afternoon, and John Murray will be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to bring you updates of Tottenham against Marseille. England against Luxembourg has reached half-time in the Women's World Cup qualifier. We'll bring you details on that after this Celtic attack. Hatate has put it between Jota and Abada. Neither could get to it. Courtois off his line. Here's Gary Flintoff.
Yep, England 5 up at the break. Ali 2 for Stanway, 1 each for Russo, Daly and Mead. Expect some experimentation in the second half from Serena Wiegman. England 5, Luxembourg 0.
Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0. Talking about those 2 commentaries tomorrow morning first thing, later on tonight as well on the BBC Sounds app. The Champions League Away Days podcast returns, so our teams in Amsterdam and Naples will bring you previews of those 2 big ties ahead of the commentaries tomorrow. 0-0 here at Celtic Park in the company of James McFadden and Roddy Forsyth. Real Madrid building down the right with Dani Carvajal. He's got support from Valverde. Modric comes tiptoeing across, back to Carvajal. Valverde makes a run infield with the ball at his feet, outside of his right foot. Lovely clip pass to Mendy on the left. Level with the edge of the Celtic penalty area. David Alaba takes a touch, high cross into the back post towards Benzema. Can't reach him, it'll stay in place, so Greg Taylor's got to deal with it. Drives it forward on the half volley. Suddenly it's 1-on-1 between Militao and Giakoumakis. Militao wins the header. has to chase his own header back to the byline, then on the turn, clears it out for a Celtic throw, and I think Celtic are going to take that, James, extremely quickly. They do. Jota looking for O'Reilly, could have found Obada in the middle, but instead the ball has gone behind for a corner. James McFadden. That
is almost identical to the goal they scored at the weekend. The quick throw in, it goes over O'Reilly's shoulder, he hits it first time, almost goes to Obada. And that is what Celtic do. They just get the ball in play as soon as they can, put bodies forward and put you under pressure.
Celtic fans, masses of them leaning forward, watching the corner come in. Courtois punches it away. Hatate drives the volley. Courtois makes the save straight at him, but went with real power. Celtic still attacking. Ball inside that Real Madrid penalty area. Real Madrid get a foot in, cleared away by Militao. First goal in the game in Seville. Conor McNamara.
And in Sevilla 0, it's Manchester City 1, and it's Erling Haaland. The first of what City fans hope will be a lot of Champions League goals in sky blue for them. Kevin De Bruyne onto Foden's pass down the right, had a little look, played it in low and hard, and sliding through was Erling Haaland for Sevilla 0, Manchester City 1, 20 minutes played.
Well, somehow here at Celtic Park it's still 0-0. Callum McGregor has just hit a rasping drive from 20 yards, and it's come crashing back off the inside of the post. James.
That was brilliant play again down the left hand side, little cut back into the feet of Giakoumakis. He has his back to goal, it looks like he's going to spin and try and get his shot away. He doesn't, he lays it onto the onrushing Callum McGregor, who smashes it off the post. Incredible. Courtois beaten, half of the crowd if not more thought it was in. What a period of football this is for Celtic.
Wow, they've got Real Madrid on the ropes at the moment. So Erling Haaland has Manchester City a goal to the good in Seville. Chelsea beaten by Dinamo Zagreb earlier on. Celtic Park in full song, back in the Champions League group stages and giving Real Madrid a run for their money. 0-0. Callum McGregor's shot coming back off the post. Here's Mendy to Kroos. Kroos to Benzema. Benzema back to Mendy. This build-up play taking place just inside the Celtic half on the left-hand side. We'll get some more thoughts from Roddy Forsyth in just a second. Here's Tchouaméni. Tchouaméni to Carvajal. Carvajal back to Militao, the centre-back. Toni Kroos drops between the two centre-backs inside his own half, whips it forward into the feet of Modric. Able to turn, looks up, didn't see Benzema in the middle, so goes low to his right to find Valverde, the Uruguayan, with the peroxide hair. Benzema is the link man, 1-2 with Modric, looking to find Modric again. Celtic get bodies around him. Greg Taylor with the first time clearance. Celtic happy to do that as well. Up towards Giakoumakis, he's in the one-on-one again. Celtic win the throw.
And that's the difference between Giakoumakis and Kyogo. He looks to get away from defenders and try and, exploit the spaces that they leave. Giakoumakis loves the physical contact. So in this occasion, certainly in a couple of occasions tonight, he is the outball and he will force those mistakes. You look at Militao, no chances, just put it out. He didn't want to take a touch because he knew Giakoumakis was there, waiting to put pressure on him, and that is what he's doing. He's causing all sorts of problems up there.
Done it again as well. Good battling for the ball. This time the throw-in has gone to Real Madrid. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0. Let's pause for breath as they take the throw. Let's bring in Roddy Forsyth. Roddy, what have you made of the first quarter of the game?
Well, you have to say that Ange Postecoglou has been as good as his word. Celtic haven't altered their style. They've been a little more cautious. Here they are again inside the penalty box. Over to you.
Yeah, Hatate to O'Reilly. Back to Hatate. Tackled by Carvajal. Back to Roddy in just a second. Modric working it with Tchouaméni. Little flick from Benzema. Kroos doesn't get enough on the pass. Celtic busying themselves to win it back. Abada is tackled by Benzema. Real Madrid decide to go to the right-hand side inside their own half. Modric to Tchouaméni. Had time to turn. High floated ball. Gives Juranovic a chance to beat Benzema in the air. Wins the next ball infield to Abada. Wide to Juranovic. Tries to get it back infield to O'Reilly. The deflected pass is intercepted by Abada. O'Reilly makes the tackle. Real Madrid get the throw. Roddy.
I made a note when Abada shot into the arms of Courtois. At that point, Celtic had 6 players inside the Real penalty area. Less than half a minute later, every Celtic player was within 50 yards of their own goal.
Is exactly what we hoped it would be. What a ticket to have if you're a Celtic fan tonight.
Oh, it's incredible. I just get the feeling that Celtic are having chances. Can they take one? Because we know the quality Real Madrid have. We know they can change the tempo of a game in the blink of an eye. but it has lived up to all expectation, and hopefully it continues. I'm sure it will, but what a game it's been.
I think you can probably hear the smiles in our voices. 67 accredited media for Real Madrid tonight. James McFadden had to act as photographer for a few of them ahead of the game. By the way, if they score, they're sitting in front of us, the radio commentators. You will know about it, I can promise you, even inside this atmosphere here at Celtic Park. Celtic have won a throw, they've taken it quickly, 25 minutes gone, and as James and Roddy have both been saying, Ange Postecoglou as good as his words. Celtic going for Real Madrid and being given encouragement as well. Greg Taylor steaming up the left-hand side, challenges for the ball. Militao heads it away. Taylor's going to take the throw, thinks about it. Jota runs past him. Taylor holds on to it. Now Hatate makes a run. Celtic players fizzing around. Taylor just can't decide which one to throw it to at the moment. Now releases it, gets it back from O'Reilly. O'Reilly's low ball into the Real Madrid box, intercepted by Tchouaméni. Carvajal clears on the turn. Another throw into Celtic, taken quickly. PSG 2, Juventus 0. Hatate down at the byline. Oh, and it's deflected into the side netting, and Celtic have a corner. Mbappe has his second goal of the night for Paris Saint-Germain. They lead Juventus by 2-0. Celtic could so easily be a goal or two up here.
Yeah, some of the play has been excellent. That looked like it went in this side of the net, it hit the side netting. What a bit of play it is again.
Oh, corner for Celtic. Jota curls it in. Courtois underneath it. Good goalkeeping. Takes it right off the top of the head of Giakoumakis. Slings it out underarm quickly. Now Benzema has laid the ball off and is wincing and is limping up towards the halfway line. My taxi driver today told me he'd heard a rumour that Benzema wasn't going to start the game, so maybe he knew more than he was letting on. Here's Valverde on the right-hand side. Benzema is in discomfort, definitely. Seems to be a problem with the right leg. Linchpin, of course, for Real Madrid, the captain, the man who scored so many goals for them on the way to the trophy last season, did so much damage in the knockout stages. He's going to try and run it off. In the meantime, Real Madrid continue to play keep ball inside the Celtic half. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0. Manchester City 1-0 up away to Sevilla, the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium. Conor McNamara with the updates this evening. Valverde to Carvajal, cut back here looking for Vinicius, headed away but only as far as Carvajal. Back it comes to Valverde looking for support on the edge of the box. Kroos hits it first time, skidding shot, goes wide and behind for the Celtic goal kick. James McFadden.
Yeah, I've been looking at Benzema. I wonder if he's just jarred his knee. He keeps trying to, if possible, stretch it off, but having had plenty of knee problems in my career, I know he looks like he's struggling with his knee, but when the ball goes wide to Valverde there, he's alive again. So I think he might be all right. No, he's signalling to say he needs changed to the bench.
Yeah, that could be that for carrying Benzema. Play continues. Celtic are pressing. Courtois has the ball at his feet. Has played at this stadium before, Thibaut Courtois.
I was going to make the point at the start when you says the Real Madrid first team have warmed up. The subs didn't warm up. They've been forced into a relatively early change. I wonder if that has an impact.
Have you ever seen that? I mean, maybe they were warming up inside.
There's nowhere in there to warm up. Let me tell you that. There is nowhere for them to warm up in there. But it was strange.
Odd one.
And I was thinking that if they're forced into an early change, well, will they be ready?
Yeah, Valverde bringing it forward. So Benzema's still out there and looking dangerous, edge of the box, but he is struggling and he does want to come off. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0. Now let's not have too much sympathy for the European champions, because Kyogo is on the bench for Celtic, not able to start the game tonight. He would have been their first choice centre forward. So it's tit for tat in that sense if Benzema does come off. RB Salzburg have taken the lead against the Italian champions AC Milan. Valverde causing problems again for Celtic down the right. Cross comes into the near post. Tchouaméni the furthest forward, beaten in the air. Celtic clear it. Modric is there, flicks a little pass back to the halfway line, and Real Madrid will start to recycle again. Yeah,
and this is a period in the match where Celtic have dropped off Real Madrid and almost allowed the ball in front, but they have such quick movement and speed of thought that they are getting down the sides, as you would expect, but it's just almost like they're taking a little breather. They're not going chasing it, because they will leave gaps, but they're quite happy, I would say, for Real Madrid to have the ball, not in this area.
Carvajal Little ball with the outside of his right foot. Valverde just wide with his left foot. That went like an absolute rocket, and there was a flash of yellow as Joe Hart, he was worried, threw himself full length to the left-hand side, went behind for the goal kick. Real Madrid are going to have to make the change. Thoughts from Roddy Fasal?
Looks like Eden Hazard's going to come on, isn't it, for Benzema?
The lesser spotted.
Yes. And there we go. And that's a forced change that Real Madrid will not wish to have made.
No. Well, that's interesting. Eden Hazard, 2 substitute appearances so far for Real Madrid this season. Not a bad player, though. Let's get to Seville. Conor McNamara.
Just approaching the half-hour mark, still Sevilla 0. Manchester City won the goal from Erling Haaland. City have just had a free kick taken by Kevin De Bruyne, close, but into the side netting. City are dominating now. Sevilla did well in the early stages, but City on top. Sevilla 0, Manchester City 1.
So Karim Benzema drags himself from the field. He's level on 86 Champions League goals at the moment with Robert Lewandowski, who will play in this season's competition for Barcelona. Quick word with Ancelotti. You noticed there, James, sort of respectful applause from the Celtic fans for one of the greats.
Yeah, they applauded Benzema off. I think they'll be delighted to see him going off as well, to be fair. But yeah, I think it is. I think they recognise he is a great of the game, playing at the highest level. Great numbers last season for Benzema. I think it's just appreciation from the Celtic fans, which not here, but in general, you don't often see from away fans.
Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0. Former Scotland international James McFadden, used to scoring big goals on the biggest stages, particularly for his country, alongside us in the commentary position at Celtic Park tonight. And Celtic have made a really good start to this game and a really good start on their return to the Champions League group stages. Leipzig and Shakhtar Donetsk, the other 2 teams in this group. Shakhtar 1 up away to Leipzig at the moment. Abada on the right, tries to get a low cross in. Mendy deals with it, closes him down and blocks it at close range. So Hazard sort of has dropped into the centre forwards position. Good dribbler of the ball, runs straight into Moritz Jens, is felled and is flat on his face in the centre circle. Terrible injury problems for Eden Hazard since joining Real Madrid. 4th season at the club, 68 appearances so far, and just the 6 goals. And if you think, James, of what he was at Chelsea, Real Madrid have seen barely glimpses of that.
They've seen nowhere near the Eden Hazard that we all got to witness in the Premier League. He was absolutely sensational, and you felt as though he was going to go and be one of their Galacticos, one of their superstars. It just hasn't quite worked out for him, but you see him there picking up. He wants to get in the half turn, little nutmeg on Jens. Callum McGregor is covering, but he has brought it down, and that's a different proposition for Celtic, because Benzema would have played that earlier to Valverde, I've no doubt about it, but Hazard wants to go and take people on.
Liking the look of young Tchouaméni in central midfield. Lovely little body swerve to beat Hatate. It's with Valverde. Little 1-2 with Hazard on the edge of the Celtic box. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0. Modric with one of those cheeky little outside of the right foot balls, doesn't find its target, and Joe Hart comes racing across to collect it. So 5 times Champions League winners for Real Madrid in this starting lineup tonight. Carvajal, Modric and Benzema, who is now off the field, of course. In terms of the Celtic squad this evening, 3 players who were last involved when Celtic were last in the group stages under Brendan Rodgers back in 2017-18. One of those, the skipper, Callum McGregor, who struck the inside of the post this evening. Real Madrid having a little spell of possession here. Carvajal floats a pass back onto the chest of Alaba. He was aware of Abada closing in behind him, so just shields the ball away from him. Low to Kroos. Vinicius Jr. comes towards the ball, lays it off to Mendy on the left-hand side. I hope this atmosphere is coming through loud and clear wherever you're listening to us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds this evening. Carvajal on the right for Real Madrid, 0-0. Tchouaméni takes his time, rolls the pass to Valverde. Valverde wide on the right, back to Tchouaméni. First time layoff to Carvajal. Celtic having to chase, but keeping Real Madrid out from the danger zones at the moment. Kroos passes across the halfway line. Eder Militao encouraged to bring it forward. Valverde hugging the touchline on the right. Infield pass to Modric, loses it. Jota dribbling out. Carvajal slides in. Meaty challenge, takes the ball. Jota picks himself up. Celtic have worked it quickly to the right, and then a bit like the old Beano character Billy Whiz, Juranovic with his legs speeding away down the right, making ground for Celtic. Back it comes to Callum McGregor. McGregor strokes it with his left foot to Greg Taylor, the left back, popping up in the centre circle. It's what you see, isn't it, with the Celtic fullbacks?
Yeah, the fullbacks come in and play in midfield positions to try and tempt the opposition to go and put pressure on. They're so comfortable at doing it, and it's worked really well. Greg Taylor in particular this season has been absolutely sensational for Celtic, and it's no surprise. You know, he's a good player, probably doesn't get the plaudits he deserves, but that's how he wants to play. He wants to build up from the back, he wants to take risk. You heard him speak yesterday.
Yeah.
If there's the greater the risk, the greater the reward sometimes, and that's the way they play.
That's why the Celtic fans absolutely love it and love Ange Postecoglou. Juranovic, by the way, got a massive cheer for a really well-timed tackle on Vinicius Junior. Celtic have it on the left. Jota going on the outside of Carvajal. Deflected cross, headed away by Militao. Hazard leaps in the air, miscued pass. Jens reads it, steps forward. Greg Taylor into Giacomakis, tries to turn Militao, bundles into a couple of Real Madrid defenders, and the referee says he's being overly physical there against Carvajal and Militao. So Real Madrid get the free kick just short of 35 minutes played in the first half. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0. But if you have just tuned in, Celtic have not only, James, given as good as they got, they could easily have scored. McGregor struck the post. There have been other chances for Abada as well.
Yeah, Celtic have had the best chances in the game, there's no doubt about it, and they've played really well. It hasn't been the gung-ho, throw bodies forward at every opportunity. There's been a bit more control and when to go and press, but when they've broke with the same intensity, the same speed. I'm just looking before that, when the ball comes to Hazard, because it's not Benzema, he tries to flick it first time. You know, he has to hold that in and then play it. But he's not playing a lot of football. He's playing as a centre forward, which isn't his natural position. But that's the thing that Real Madrid will be missing from Benzema, that intelligence, that know-how of playing that position, knowing when to take a touch, knowing when to play it first time. And Hazard will need to learn that quick, because if he does that again, Celtic are just encouraged to go and press and attack.
Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0. Manchester City 1-0 up away to Sevilla. Erling Haaland with the goal. Mbappe has 2 tonight for Paris Saint-Germain. They lead Juventus by 2 goals to 0 in this group. Shakhtar Donetsk 1 up away to RB Leipzig, and the Italian champions AC Milan are behind away to Salzburg. Valverde on the ball, edge of the Celtic area. This is dangerous for Postecoglou's team. Ball breaks loose down by the byline. Valverde whips the cross in, it's overhit. It's beyond Militao, who sort of puts his hands to his face in sort of mock horror, thinking, wow, if the cross was right there, I was in for a free header at the far post. Chelsea beaten by a goal to 0 away to Dinamo Zagreb this evening. Reaction to that, I'm sure, later on in the show tonight. Also in the Football Daily podcast, available for you on the BBC Sounds tomorrow. Another goal for England's women in the World Cup qualifier against Luxembourg early in the second half. Gary Flintoff.
Yep, 2 minutes into the second half, it's 6-0. Bethany England came on at the break. 2 minutes later, she's scored from close range. England 6, Luxembourg 0.
Will they get the 9 that Celtic got against Dundee United the other day? Let's wait and see. First time ball looking for Abada from Hatate, covered by Alaba. Back to Courtois. Courtois, who, as I said, has been here before with Atletico Madrid for a Europa League tie back in November 2011, so he knows what European nights at this stadium are all about. Hugely experienced players in the Real Madrid team, but I always remember the likes of Messi and Xavi talking about their visits here and being, you know, for players of that stature to be blown away by an atmosphere. Carvajal on the ball on the right for Real Madrid. They've had plenty of possession in the first half. There has been threat. You would definitely expect that. Here's Kroos running away from Giacomakis, curling low ball across the halfway line. Vinicius drops the shoulder onto his right foot. Mendy makes a little run beyond him on the left. Stabs the ball infield to Kroos. Kroos at walking pace. Plays it on to Modric, darts forward, 25 yards out. Slides it to his right to Valverde. Now Carvajal. Back to Valverde again, corner of the Celtic box, looking for Hazard. Cleared, only as far as Ferland Mendy, Real Madrid's left back, and Vinicius is going to get another run at Juranovic, who's so carefully watching that Champions League emblazoned football at the tricky feet of Vinicius Junior. Hazard on the ball, wide on the left, rolls it back to Kroos. Kroos, early cross into the far post. Carvajal there with the knockback. Carter Vickers reads it. His clearance goes straight up in the air. The offside flag goes up in the air. Celtic will get a free kick. James McFadden.
Yeah, but it's something that Real Madrid have been looking for. When the ball comes from the left into the right in that inside channel, Valverde makes a run, Carvajal makes a run, that diagonal run in behind Greg Taylor. On this occasion, Greg Taylor can see Valverde's there, but he can't see Carvajal coming in behind Valverde, and it's something that maybe Jota has to switch on and get in beside. Thankfully, for Celtic it is offside, but it's something that Real Madrid are trying to play.
Yeah, a couple of the crosses have been overhit as well. Militao's come through the back of Giakoumakis. Look at that, the ball was stopped still. Hatate runs forward, just clips it, takes the free kick. Jota into the penalty area on the left. There's the cross, too close to Courtois, who gathers it easily at the near post. He was looking for Abada. Again, a classic example of what Celtic do. Hatate switched on. Oh, and there's a foul from the centre forward. He was just back on his feet. Number 7 on number 7. Giakoumakis clatters into Hazard and apologises with a little kiss on the back of his head.
Yeah, and he's taking a sore one in the leg as well with that tackle. It's just the commitment that he's got, Giakoumakis, to go work, took pressure on. I don't know if he had to make that foul because of where it was. And if you're, Eden Hazard, you don't want him anywhere near your box. If he's in his own half, then you don't need to be diving in. And he didn't get booked. He could have done, but he's taking a little knock, and hopefully it's not too serious.
Still goalless at Celtic Park. 5 minutes remaining in what's been a thoroughly entertaining, atmospheric, intriguing first half. Ange Postecoglou, I'm not sure the hands have come out of the pockets for the entire first half. Two incredibly laid-back managers, actually, Postecoglou and Ancelotti. Ancelotti's got the arms crossed in his dark, smart suit. Valverde down the right to Modric. Hatate breathing down his neck. Modric tries to turn him, almost does that, lays it back here to Carvajal, low crossing. Oh, it went all the way through to Hazard. It's slightly miscued, the ball is loose, it eventually goes behind, and it is a goal kick. Hazard got the last touch, could have scored.
He should have scored. It's a huge let-off. Spoke about that run from in behind the fullbacks. Hazard just peels off the back of Juranovic.
Celtic are giving it away. Valverde's onto it. Callum McGregor has rescued Celtic twice in the last couple of minutes, being alert to the danger. It's gone behind for a Celtic goal kick. They'll take that quickly. Carter Vickers under pressure, plays the pass out in plenty of time. Here's Hatate down the right to Juranovic crosses the halfway line. Toni Kroos comes towards him. Juranovic stops, plays it back to Hatate, heading back to Seville shortly. Last we heard, Manchester City leading Sevilla by 1-0. Greg Taylor quickly on to Jota. Jota's not really been able to express himself too much in the first half. Little step over from him. He loves the tricks, loves the flicks. Was doing plenty of that on Saturday. Celtic back to Jens on the halfway line to Carter Vickers. Good crisp low pass to the right. Juranovic gets across in. That's good delivery, but it's beyond O'Reilly and it's beyond Giakoumakis, and out it goes for a Celtic throw, roared on by the Celtic fans. Jota sprints to take the throw quickly. Ball is back in play immediately. Here's McGregor, drops a shoulder to try and lose Modric. Carter Vickers, another fabulous ball from the centre-back, wide to Juranovic, low cross driven in, intercepted by Kroos. Hazard plays a first-time ball up towards Vinicius, back to Hazard, stocky figure, left-footed ball over the top, offside flag stays down. This is trouble for Celtic. Vinicius Junior in on goal. Joe Hart, fabulous, comes out, makes himself big and makes an absolutely vital save for Celtic.
That's a huge save, I have to say. First glance I thought he was miles offside, but the flag stayed down and Joe Hart comes out, narrows the angle. It looks like he's going to just open his foot and pass it into the far corner, and Joe Hart stays big, stops himself from being dinked as well, and it's a brilliant save.
Would have been checked by the video assistant referee, of course. Hatate, first time ball out to Jota. Jota dummies the cross. There's the step over, left-footed high, floated ball. Giakoumakis up so high, heads it back across goal. Courtois makes the catch. Giakoumakis penalised for a foul. Conor McNamara watching Sevilla against Manchester City.
Still Sevilla 0, Manchester City 1. Brulis just pulled another one back, looking for Haaland. It's been put out for a corner. Sevilla have had their best chance of the game. Papu Gomez stretching, couldn't trouble Edison. It's Sevilla 0, City 1.
AC Milan equaliser. Alexis Sailormakers with it against Salzburg. That's Salzburg 1, AC Milan 1. Shakhtar in this group still 1 up away to RB Leipzig. As Conor was saying, Manchester City leading Sevilla by 1-0. The expressive nature of Carlo Ancelotti, so annoyed with his team. I'm not quite sure what it was playing out from the back, but it's a giant clap of the hands and the arms are thrown up in sort of operatic despair. Cross in from Carvajal, chested down by Jens. Callum McGregor, head up all the time, looking for the early pass forward. It's not on. Back it comes to Carter Vickers. 0-0.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the cross from Juranovic, not the last one, the one before it. It goes to the back post, and it's something that Celtic, more often than not, the opposite wide man gets in and puts that in the back of the net. Jota's on his heels. If he goes and attacks it, then he's got a great chance.
McGregor floated ball, chested down by Jota. The offside flag goes up late there. Play was allowed to develop, then it goes up. Jota was offside from the original ball, and once he backheeled it to Matt O'Reilly, the flag went up and the free kick is given to Real Madrid. We have a minute left in this first half. Kelly Cates back with you at half-time, keeping you in touch with everything that's been going on this evening. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. This is Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0. Kroos on the ball inside his own half towards Hazard. Nearly got away from him. McGregor sticking to him like glue. Plays back to Alaba. Alaba across to Militao. Militao to Carvajal. Walking pace from Real Madrid inside their own half. Not really had too many stoppages in the first half. I wouldn't expect too much added time at the end of this 45 minutes. Luka Modric, always reminded of that goal he scored, breaking Scottish hearts against Scotland at Hampden Park in the Euros. That was a wonderful classic.
I've just got over that one.
Sorry,
thanks,
James. Sorry. Carvajal on the right, low ball to the edge of the Celtic box. Tchouameni lays it off. Hazard drives a low pass to Vinicius Junior. Right-footed curler straight at Joe Hart. Pats it down into the ground. 1 minute of added time at the end of the first half, and again Celtic are going to go quickly. Joe Hart slings it out, Schmeichel style, overarm to Abada. Abada can't quite get past Toni Kroos. Kroos stops him, and the ball comes back to Alaba. What a first half it's been.
It's been incredible, absolutely incredible. The noise at the start for Celtic. Real Madrid have had their moments, the chances Celtic have created. It's been absolutely brilliant, and everything we expected more, apart from we've not seen too many goals, but as long as they don't win the Celtic end, we'll be all right with that.
Last chance in the first half possibly for Real Madrid. Vinicius Junior, Celtic defenders trailing in his wake, but they've got him heading backwards towards the halfway line. 10 seconds remaining on the clock in the first half. Will Real Madrid sling across in there? Valverde with a couple of tricks on the right hand side. It's not really their style. They've not really got the target man either, with Karim Benzema going off injured at half time. Carlo Ancelotti not best pleased with his team. Another throw of the arm in the air. The European champions have come to Celtic Park, and James McFadden, they know they're in a fight.
Oh, they sure do. Carlo Ancelotti's frustrated with his side, but I think credit has to go to Celtic and how they've played and how they've approached it. Pressing when it's on, sitting back, frustrating, allowing Real Madrid possession of the ball, allowing them to go side to side. And sure, they've looked dangerous in certain occasions, but overall, I think Celtic will be really happy with how that first half's gone.
Half-time thoughts from Roddy Forsyth.
Well, I'm looking at the possession stats. Celtic have 37% of the possession. That's their lowest share this season. The only other team who finished a game with greater possession than them was Rangers on Saturday, and Celtic took care of business when it needed. At the moment, also, by the way, the 2 shots on target plus hitting the post.
Yep.
They're superior in that department too, because Real's only chance on target came right at the end of the half.
Can Celtic keep it going in the second half? Carlo Ancelotti, this is his 4th visit to Celtic Park. He doesn't like it. He's never won. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0.
James, this is such a fun game to watch. It's end to end, it's really entertaining, and as much as, Roddy was right to say with just over 30% of possession for Celtic, but it feels like every time they've got the ball they're going forward.
Yeah, and that is it. Celtic, when they play against and domestic teams, they have majority of the ball because teams are sitting off. They're not committing to the press, so they're patient and they have to try and look for those gaps, try and invite the press. But as Roddy mentioned, against Rangers went to go and try and have a go at Celtic, and they just sat off at times as well and allowed, I wouldn't say they allowed them comfortable possession, but when Celtic won it back, 2, 3, 4, 5 passes, and they're getting a chance at goal because of the speed in which they attack, the numbers they throw forward, and how quick they play the ball forward. When it's restarts, they want to play and put teams under pressure. They're not going to have the majority of possession against Real Madrid because they know how to take the sting out of the game. But I would say that Ange Postecoglou will be absolutely delighted with how this first half's gone. They've had the best chances in the game, they've hit the post. Yeah, Real Madrid have looked a class act at times in terms of knocking the ball about, but not really testing Joe Hart. Vinicius goes in down the left hand side, Joe Hart does really well, there's another shot from distance, but apart from that I think they'll be really happy. The frustration for Celtic is they haven't been able to take one of those chances, but when they've been on the ball they've used it the way they normally do, and that is all the Celtic fans, Ange Postecoglou, the players, it's all they can ask for, because he promised them they would approach the game in the same manner as which they do every single week, and they certainly have done that.
It is very much Ange Postecoglou's ethos on the pitch at Celtic Park tonight. We'll be back there for the second half with James McFadden, Roddy Forsyth and Alistair Bruce Ball very shortly. Also half-time in Seville, it's Sevilla against Manchester City. Conor McNamara.
Yes, it's been comfortable for Pep Guardiola's side. They lead by 1-0 here. It is now 11 goals in his last 7 games for Manchester City for Erling Haaland. Sliding in, tapping it in, looks so easy. Of course, the genius is how he got into that position, how he gave the defenders the slip. Kevin De Bruyne perfectly timing a run to stay onside, getting onto Phil Foden's pass, low and hard across the goal, and Haaland there to tap it in. So 20th game for Haaland in the Champions League in his career. He loves this competition. He's now scored 24 goals in those 20 games. At this level, it's just incredible. Sevilla promised much in the opening minutes. They were a flurry of passes. They were confidently coming out from the back, but they haven't delivered much. Marcus Acuna, the Argentinian midfielder, had a crack from the edge of the box, but it went across the face of goal and narrowly wide. It is Sevilla 0, Manchester City 1.
Conor, thank you very much. Conor McNamara will bring us regular updates from that game. England are taking on Luxembourg in the qualifiers for the World Cup. England, of course, already qualified with that win against Austria in midweek, but Sarina Wiegman said they weren't going to take their foot off the gas for this one. So how many is it now, Gary Flintoff?
Well, we've played an hour, Kelly. It's England 7, Luxembourg 0, and I have to say, a very popular goal just scored by Nikita Paris. Good run on the right-hand side, neat 1-2 into the penalty area, and she finished low past the keeper's right hand. And as expected, the changes have come. 3 at half-time, with Zellum as the goalkeeper makes another save. Zellum, England and Bright coming on for Williamson, Stanway and Russo, and Hemp and Stokes have just replaced Daly and Mead as Sarina Wiegman makes changes and starts to experiment. England in control, as you would expect, by 7-0.
Gary Flintoff, thank you very much. Gary will keep you up to date with that, and Laura Bassett and P. Mullenstein will take you through that on Sports Extra if you want to listen to full commentary. Elsewhere, in terms of the World Cup qualifiers, Wales are drawing 0-0 against Slovenia. Wales need a point to make the playoffs. It's going well for them as things stand. Earlier, Scotland made it 6 against the Faroe Islands. 6-0 was the final score there. And Northern Ireland beat Latvia in Latvia by 3-1. Elsewhere in the Champions League this evening, John Bennett, it's been entertaining, it's been eventful.
We've seen some fantastic goals, 2 of them in Paris, both scored by Kylian Mbappe. Half-time, it is Paris Saint-Germain 2, Juventus 0. The first goal will be sending social media wild. A scoop pass by Neymar into the box. Mbappe volleyed it in. His second goal was a volley as well, this time set up by Hakimi. Paris Saint-Germain playing some superb football. Elsewhere in Celtic's group, there's a really good story developing in Germany. RB Leipzig 0, Shakhtar Donetsk 1. It's incredible that Shakhtar are able to compete in the Champions League, given what's going on in Ukraine, let alone to be winning this game at half-time. A bizarre goal. Marian Shved hitting it into an empty net after he dispossessed the goalkeeper, who was well out of his box, but they're 1-0 up Shakhtar Donetsk. And finally, in Chelsea's group, half-time, it's Red Bull Salzburg 1, AC Milan 1. Milan with an equaliser after another brilliant goal. Noah Okafor with 2 nutmegs as he hit the back of the net, but it's Salzburg 1, AC Milan 1.
John, thank you very much. John Bennett keeping an eye on all things Champions League this evening. There is a match towards the bottom of League One as well. Forest Green Rovers 1-0 up against Accrington Stanley. We'll keep you up to date with all of this evening's football, but for now we're going to head back to New York. The quarterfinals are underway at the US Open and David Law is watching.
We know who our first men's quarter-finalist is. That's going to be Casper Ruud, who also reached the final of the French Open a few months ago. He's from Norway and he defeated Matteo Berrettini of Italy, a Wimbledon runner-up of last year, Terrible start to the match for Berrettini. He only won 2 games in the first couple of sets, got himself back into it, but Ruud eventually won through in 4 sets and will now face either Nick Kyrgios or Karen Khachanov in the semi-finals. We also got the first of the women's quarterfinals going on at the moment. Ons Jabeur, a runner-up at Wimbledon this year, 5-3 up first set against the woman who knocked out Serena Williams at this tournament. That's Ayla Tomljanovic. 5-3 Jabeur. It is, and now advantage to Tomljanovic.
David Law, thank you very much. Live commentary from Flushing Meadows is available on the BBC Sport website and app. Coming up, we will, of course, be back at Celtic Park for the second half of Celtic against Real Madrid. Really entertaining first half, but no goals as yet. Regular updates from the Champions League as well, and from England's World Cup qualifier against Luxembourg, where the Lionesses are rampant in Stoke this evening. We'll also be live in Naples with Ian Dennis ahead of Liverpool's Champions League opener tomorrow. Before all of that, though, the BBC News with Matthew Bone.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Kelly. Liz Truss is appointing ministers to her first cabinet as Prime Minister. Earlier, she delivered her first speech from outside Downing Street, saying she had 3 immediate priorities for her government: to grow the economy, tackle the energy crisis and improve access to the NHS. So who'll be helping her in trying to deliver on those priorities? Our political correspondent Ione Wells is outside Downing Street. Ione, who have the big jobs gone to?
Well, some of the top jobs, as you say, have already been announced. We know that Kwasi Kwarteng is going to be the new Chancellor, that Suella Braverman is going to be the new Home Secretary, James Cleverly going to be the new Foreign Secretary as well. Nadeem Zahawi as well, still remaining a Cabinet Minister. He's going to be the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, which is essentially responsible for running the Cabinet Office and supporting the Prime Minister, basically trying to get different departments in government to try and work together better. So that's another sort of key role. We also know Brandon Lewis has gone from being Northern Ireland Secretary to Justice Secretary as well. So a couple of key big names there as well. Health Secretary going to Therese Coffey, who's a close friend and ally of Liz Truss as well. She's also going to be Deputy Prime Minister. Now, one key appointment as well is Wendy Morton. Now, people may have not heard that name before, but she's going to be the new Chief Whip, which is a very important role, essentially tasked with making Tory MPs vote the way that the Prime Minister wants them to vote in key things. But also in charge of things like MPs' welfare and party discipline more generally as well. Now, she is the first Conservative woman to hold that post. So that's something that has been noted. It's previously been held by men in the last couple of governments, certainly as well. Lots of people commenting on the sort of diversity of those top jobs too. Not a single white man is going to hold a position in those 4 great offices of state. So another sort of top line to come out of this evening's appointments.
Yeah, and you mentioned allies there. What about the MPs who backed her opponent Rishi Sunak for the top job? How have they fared?
So far, not very well at all, and that is something that is being picked up on in political circles among MPs that did back Rishi Sunak or backed other leadership candidates in this race. Now, if this goes the way that we expect it to go, there could still be last-minute changes or kind of grappling over certain roles, but so far the only person tipped to be in a cabinet position who backed Rishi Sunak is Michael Ellis, who's tipped to be Attorney General, the sort of legal advisor for the government, but so far no other Rishi Sunak supporters are being given top roles. Now, where that could kind of prove problematic is this is something Boris Johnson was known for as well, kind of appointing key allies to those top cabinet positions. Where it may prove problematic, though, is that there have been calls over the last 24 hours for unity after what's been quite a bruising contest full of lots of blue-on-blue attacks within the Conservative Party. So there are some of his allies wondering why there aren't more of those positions being offered to Sunak supporters who could potentially then think about stitching some of those wounds back together.
Ione, thanks very much. In other news, the Scottish Government has announced a series of measures to help people struggling to make ends meet. They include a freeze on rents for both social and private tenants and a temporary ban on evictions, Kelly.
This is 5 Live, your football station.
The UEFA Champions League
With Kelly Cates.
And we will have second half commentary of Celtic against Real Madrid very shortly. Tomorrow, we've got back-to-back games for you. Ajax against Rangers at 5:45 and Napoli against Liverpool at 8 o'clock. And on Saturday, Premier League afternoons on 5 Live are back and bigger than ever.
Listen to that roar. All the goals as they go in.
quicker than anything else you will find anywhere.
That frenetic 5 Live goal service.
Stuff it, just give me the team news, you miserable lump.
Oh, they've scored! Oh my word! That really is rubbing it in now.
Wow, taking all that in.
Big game, top pundit, guess who's muscled himself in?
It's always a delight to be with you on a Saturday afternoon.
You know who we really enjoyed?
Well, Mandy.
Can you believe that?
Just listen to that noise!
It is Oldham 5, Forest Green 5.
Let's deal with the big story of the week then. You met Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I mean, I didn't really know what to say. Hello, Arnie, how are you? I'm Alan Shearer from Newcastle.
Now, what about this? Christian Eriksen has just scored his first goal since his return.
They're rattling in the goals and they're racking up the points.
Rodrigo steps up and sends Jose Sarr the wrong way.
Give Manchester United any chance?
No.
Thank you very much, Freddie Youngberg. We'll see you next week.
The goalkeeper has run 100 yards upfield to celebrate with the rest of his teammates.
There's a metric called expected goals. Have you looked into that at all?
I haven't looked into that, no.
Have that for the first question.
I really am enjoying working with you.
Oh, it's going to be a long afternoon, isn't it?
That was Mark Chapman, and the voice of Saturday, Ian Dennis, joins us now from Napoli. Buonasera, Deno. You're in a tunnel.
Buonasera, Lady Kelly. It could be a long night for you if this cuts out. We've just left the stadium. We're just going into a tunnel on the chaotic roads of Naples, having had a listen to Alisson and Jurgen Klopp for about half an hour, and then trying to flag down a taxi for another half an hour.
What did they say? You've had plenty of time to mull over it. Are there any fit midfielders for Liverpool?
Yeah, Thiago's trained today. It was his second day of training, so he's ready according to Jurgen Klopp. Curtis Jones hasn't travelled. Carvalho hasn't travelled. He's got a dead leg. Curtis Jones has just had a bit of a setback, but there's no Jordan Henderson, and the results of his scan have come back, and Jurgen Klopp is now predicting that Jordan Henderson won't be available until after the international break. So there's mixed news, but Thiago being back, and also Quartarta, who they signed last week on loan from Juventus, he is ready to play. He needs minutes, so he's ready to play, but Jurgen Klopp has said he's not ready to fulfil a whole 90 minutes, so I'm expecting him to feature at some stage.
For the players in the Premier League who are in European competition, they're going to be playing every midweek from now until the World Cup. So how does that impact on Jurgen Klopp's ability with the injuries to keep his players rotated and fresh?
Well, it was one question I wanted to ask him, because as you're right, it's the condensed nature of this group stage schedule now because of the World Cup. So they're going to have the 6 games being played in an 8-week period. However, I was unable to ask the question because an Italian journalist, he was in great mood, he was very relaxed, he was smiling throughout, but one Italian journalist asked the question about, is Naples a safe city? And he really did bristle at that, and he responded by saying, that's an embarrassing question. I don't live in Naples. You told me, I'm not going to make your headlines for you. The reason that the Italian journalist asked the question is that Liverpool as a football club have today put out some safety advice for their supporters travelling to the game, not to wear colours, to stay close to the hotel, and not to make their own way to the stadium. There have been issues in the past with not just Liverpool fans when they come here to Naples, so that was why the question was asked. But Jurgen Klopp at that point then ended his press conference.
And we will end our conversation here as well, Deno. Good to hear from you. I like that kind of slightly old-fashioned, old-school, retro way of speaking to us from Europe down a crackly line. It takes me back to the early stages of the European Cup. Now, last time Rangers reached the group stage of the Champions League was in 2010. They take on Ajax tomorrow. Vicky Sparks and Pat Nevin will bring you commentary of that from 5:45. And there's lots more from our teams in Naples and Amsterdam on a special Football Daily Away Days podcast. That's available later tonight. And then when you check BBC Sounds in the morning, you'll be able to do that. We'll keep you up to date with all things Champions League this evening. Our commentary matches at Selhurst Park. With you for the second half, James McFadden and Alistair Bruce Ball.
Kelly Cates, you could not have timed that any better. The whistle blows, the second half is underway. Change made by each manager at half-time. We hope this game continues in the vein it was running in the first half. Hugely entertaining, goalless draw so far. One of Celtic's Japanese contingent, Daisen Maeda, has come on wide on the right-hand side in place of the young Israeli Lil Abada. That is the change for Celtic. And change at centre-back for Real Madrid. Someone you might recognise, actually, wearing the number 22. First season at the club, having joined on a free from Chelsea. Antonio Rudiger plays alongside David Alaba. Eder Militao has gone off. England's women up against Luxembourg in the World Cup qualifier. Another goal, Gary Flintoff.
Yep, 8-0. Ella Toone from the spot. England's second penalty of the night. A cheeky finish, sending the keeper the wrong way. England 8, Luxembourg 0.
Thank you, Gary. Tchouaméni on the ball for Real Madrid. Here's Rudiger getting some early touches. He's going to have to battle against Georgios Giakoumakis, Celtic's Greek centre-forward. Kyogo, having picked up the early shoulder injury in the derby on Saturday, is waiting there on the bench. We'll have to wait and see whether he gets any game time tonight. So great to have the Champions League back on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and this as a first commentary has been a real treat so far. The atmosphere just sort of steadily building early in the second half as the two teams just try and get back into those rhythms they had in the first half. James or McFadden will bring you in a second, because Valverde is on the turn here. He has been dangerous for Real on the right hand side. McGregor's done some brilliant ball winning for Celtic. He's done it again there. Plays it up to Giakoumakis, holds off Tchouaméni brilliantly. Jota sliding the pass through to the substitute Maeda, lays it back to Jota. He's 30 yards out in the inside left channel, wide to O'Reilly. Early ball, chested down by Juranovic, drives it across goal. Oh, Maeda's miscued it. Easy save for Courtois. Proper contact on that. Celtic would have had the lead.
Oh, what a chance it is. What a chance that is for Celtic. Giakoumakis does brilliant to hold the ball up. Then they break. Jota plays it to Maeda, who plays it back to him. It comes down the left-hand side. And when it's crossed back across to the right, it's fired across. Maeda just needs to get a good contact on it. It looked like he was going to score. It just gets stuck under his feet and rolls to the relief Thibaut Courtois in goal. That really should have been a goal for Celtic.
Shows you that not quite everything Ange Postecoglou touch turns to goal, because that would have been an absolutely inspired substitution had Maeda been able to stick it away. The better chances in this game, as they were in the first half, going to Celtic. Real Madrid lost Karim Benzema to injury in that first half. He hobbled off, so Eden Hazard is playing as their centre-forward, sort of false 9. Next break in play, we'll take you back to Seville. Conor McNamara bringing us the updates on Sevilla against Manchester City. City were leading 1-0 at half-time through an Erling Haaland goal, yet another one of those. 5:30 commentary on Saturday, by the way, on BBC Radio 5 Live. Manchester City against Tottenham. Should be some game. Valverde finds space down the right. Hazard onto the ball. Little cutback, not enough on it. Carvajal in, and Jens knocks it out for a throw-in. And then Celtic's defenders complain that there should have been an offside flag up, because Hazard was in acres of space on that right, but the flag stayed down. Obviously would have been checked by VAR had it led to a goal. Valverde away from Hatate. Tchouaméni with the shot. Maeda's in there to make the block for Celtic. Comes back out to Carvajal. Here's Modric. Modric to Tchouaméni. Short ball forward. Can't find Hazard. Hatate trying to dribble out of a tight spot. Tchouaméni is leaning over him, much the taller man. Hatate drags him out to the left, gives the ball away. Carvajal's pass infield, headed away by McGregor out to the left. Hatate tries to keep it in, does so, somehow gets it to Taylor with a little hook pass. Jens clears with his right foot. Modric works it back to the halfway line, and Rudiger comes back to David Alaba. Giakoumakis chases him into the Real Madrid half. Now you can hear that atmosphere building just a little bit more, and Real Madrid come back to goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois. Courtois with his left foot drills it out to the right wing. Carvajal chests it down. Carvajal back to Rudiger. Ancelotti shakes his head below us, still not happy with what he's seeing from the European champions so far tonight. Modric sees a lot of space for Ferland Mendy, the left back, bringing it forward for Real Madrid in his bright orange boots. Deflection on the cross, back to Joe Hart. Let's get to Seville. Conor McNamara.
Yes, it's still Sevilla 0, Manchester City 1, but City have had 2 big chances in quick succession. De Bruyne played through 1-on-1, denied by the goalkeeper Bono, and then Haaland stretching but couldn't get a touch with the goal at his mercy. Sevilla 0, City 1.
Real Madrid win the ball off Celtic inside the Celtic half. Modric gets his head down, runs forward, little step over, edge of the box, plays it to Vinicius Junior. Great tackle on him by Moritz Jens, and suddenly opens up for Celtic. 4-on-4. Options for Matt O'Reilly left and right. Decides not to release the ball. Valverde chases him back. Now Juranovic quickly up in support, speeding away down the right-hand side for Celtic in the green and white hoops, attacking the goal to left-hand side as we look at it in this second half. Hatate looks for the run of Maeda. Maeda's so busy at both ends of the pitch, and the ball is with Thibaut Courtois.
Oh, his work rate's incredible. And I think it was the right decision by Matt O'Reilly not to play the pass. It did look like it would have been a good race between Maeda and Mendy, but I don't think it was the right option. I think he done the right thing, but then Hatate goes and tries to thread that through. But Maeda will bring endless amounts of energy. He's got one speed, it is very, very fast. He just goes non-stop, and he will be a nuisance. Great threat going forward, unbelievable work rate going back the way as well.
Played over 5 minutes in the second half at Celtic Park. You're listening to it live on BBC Radio 5 Live, also available on the BBC Sounds app. You don't have to miss a thing if you're on the move. 2 more Champions League commentaries tomorrow, as Kelly was telling you at half-time. Ian Dennis sounded like he was sort of bobbing up and down in the water, underwater and above the water, as he was reporting from Naples. That's our 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Liverpool away to Napoli, 5:45. Rangers back in the big time, away to Ajax. Modric pass forward, intercepted. McGregor on the ball for Celtic, having a great game tonight. Very nearly gave Celtic the lead. That pass forward, Jota can't catch it. Your Celtic lineup then, second half: Joe Hart in goal, Juranovic, Carter Vickers, Jens and Greg Taylor back four. McGregor with O'Reilly and Hatate either side of him. Maeda's come on for Abada wide on the right, Jota on the left, and Georgios Giakoumakis through the middle. Real Madrid have Thibaut Courtois in goal, dressed all in red with the giant black gloves, away to our left. Carvajal on the right hand side, Rudiger on to partner Alaba at centre back, Mendy at left back on the yellow card. Here is Carvajal, left footed ball. Valverde's got to work to keep that in play, can't do it. Ball skids off his right boot into the advertising hoardings. Celtic have a goal kick. Benzema replaced by Hazard in the first half. Vinicius Junior and Valverde either side of him, and in midfield Tchouaméni, Modric and Kroos. Benfica, who would have started favourites for the game tonight, have a goal against Maccabi Haifa. That's in Champions League Group H, and Mbappe scored 2 in the other game in that group. PSG lead Juventus by 2-0. Hatate right in the middle of the Real Madrid half. They're in dark black change kit this evening with luminous green trim. The last time they were here back in 1980, 42 years ago, they played in all blue. Rather unusually for Real Madrid. So not in the famous white, but you can obviously see the potential for the clash with lots of white in Celtic's kit as well. McGregor's pass across the Real Madrid half. Hazard half intercepts, it comes back to Carter Vickers. McGregor to Greg Taylor in central midfield, the left back. Wide it goes to Juranovic, quickly gets it out from under his feet. Curling cross looking for Giakoumakis. Cleared to Hazard. Hazard lays it back to Kroos. Kroos to Mendy. Mendy runs away from Maeda. Strokes a lovely pass into the feet of Modric. Quickly onto Valverde. Good challenge on him. Tackled by Greg Taylor, and out it goes for a throw into Real Madrid. James McFadden.
It just looks so good when Modric passes the ball, doesn't it? He's so relaxed, outside of the boot, as casual as you like. Inch perfect weight. He is a Rolls Royce of a footballer. It's a joy to watch.
Yeah, it's another one, isn't it? They applauded Benzema up in the first half, but if you're a Celtic fan, to watch Modric live against your team.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't do what he did against Scotland in the summer, because that was the same. He was absolutely outstanding in that game, and he'd come in for a lot of stick in the Euros. Saying his legs had gone, and he responded well. Obviously goes on to win another Champions League as well. He's just such a terrific footballer.
Yeah, as I said in the first half, 37 years old on Friday, improving with age. Former Tottenham Hotspur, they're in Champions League action tomorrow. John Murray will be there for updates on Tottenham against Marseille. Joe Hart, that's a nice ball, floated to the right. Juranovic, freedom of Celtic Park, charges forward, crosses the halfway line. Maeda stays wide for him in his yellow boots and his bald head. O'Reilly with a first-time ball, looking for Juranovic, can't find him, and through it comes to Courtois. Now Celtic feel that Courtois shouldn't have been able to pick that ball up. The referee clearly feels that it was accidentally deflected back to him, so he's allowed to.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he was trying to pass it back. I think he was trying to cut the pass out, but it's still a risk from Courtois to take it. He didn't have to pick it up. He's taking a risk there, but I think it's the right decision.
Celtic 0, Real Madrid 0. Talking about that European Cup quarter-final in 1980, one of the BBC Scotland team was digging through the loft the other day, found a programme from the game. So I managed to take a photo of that programme. I had Laurie Cunningham of Real Madrid on the front cover alongside tonight's programme as well. 42 years between the games, only the second time these two famous clubs have met in competitive European competition. Tonight it's 0-0 and Celtic are pressing and Maeda is trying to hassle Alaba out of possession. England's women leading Luxembourg by 8-0. Commentary continues on 5 Sports Extra. Carvajal on the ball for Real Madrid. Celtic again chasing them down. Valverde flicks it round the corner. Hazard chests it down. Valverde with his pace away down the right hand side. No options really in the middle. Juranovic got to get across the cover edge. 1-0. Vinicius Junior pops up at the far post. The man who scored the winner in the final in Paris in May runs off to the corner flag, does a little jig in front of the Celtic fans to taunt them. Deadly counter-attacking from Real Madrid, and Vinicius Junior gives them the lead. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 1.
What a sensational goal it is. Real Madrid look like they're under pressure. They look like they're going to get forced into a mistake. They knock it round the back, and when it comes into Hazard, he flicks it round the corner to Valverde with the back heel, and you know he's got the pace. He gets his head up, he just plays a perfectly weighted pass right across the box, about 14 yards out for Vinicius to run on it. Doesn't even check his run, opens up the right foot, passes it back across Joe Hart into the side netting. A sensational goal. It's a hammer blow for Celtic, but listen to the reaction of this crowd. They're trying to fire the players up to say they're still behind them, they can get back level.
Yeah, was always going to be the way. Real Madrid were always going to offer the threat. They have got the lead. We know how Celtic are going to react, and the fans are going to back them all the way. Another goal in Seville, Conor McNamara.
And another goal for Manchester City, who lead Sevilla by 2-0 now. Phil Foden chopped, turned 3 times in the penalty area before rolling it into the bottom corner. Wonderful individual goal. Haaland got the first one. Sevilla 0, Manchester City 2.
Juventus have a goal back away to Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain 2, Juventus 1. Manchester City 2 goals to the good. Good start to the Champions League campaign for them. Chelsea lost 1-0 away to Dinamo Zagreb. Tate nearly gives the ball away. Hazard was very close to getting onto that with a clean run through on goal. Couldn't quite get it. Carter Vickers onto the ball. There was a slight delay in kick-off, where obviously the video assistant referee was just checking that the Real Madrid goal was okay, looking for a potential offside. Valverde is so dangerous down the right-hand side. Didn't look like he had anyone to aim at in the middle, but Vinicius Junior was bombing on down that left-hand side. He just put it into the space, didn't he, James?
Yeah, he did. I thought he was actually going to run towards goal, but it's great play. He gets his head up, he sees Vinicius on the far side, and it's just a perfectly weighted pass into his path, taking out the full defence, and what a finish. Such a composed finish from Vinicius Junior.
Leipzig 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 2, I think, if I heard that correctly. And Benfica now leading Maccabi Haifa. No, 2-2 is it? 2-0, sorry. Benfica leading Maccabi Haifa 2-0. It only went 1-0 early in the second half. So Benfica are 2 goals to the good. Juve have a goal back against Paris Saint-Germain. And Leipzig 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 2. Latest. Salzburg 1, AC Milan 1, and Borussia Dortmund 3-0 winners against Copenhagen earlier on. A game in Group G, which is Manchester City's group, because of course commentary next week, Manchester City against Dortmund, Erling Haaland against his former club. So let's see if Celtic can get back into this one. Coming up to the hour mark in the game, Celtic 0, Real Madrid 1. There was that sort of roar of noise to encourage Celtic to get back into it. Real Madrid are trying to sort of kill that and stem it by keeping the ball and quieting the crowd. But you know Celtic will keep going, and will. They've had their chances, and you feel they can create more.
Yeah, they can, but I'm just looking at Real Madrid. They've obviously got the lead now, and they have knocked the ball about well. They've been really patient in their build-up play. They're hitting the break at pace, but they won't get frustrated by having to keep the ball.
Trouble again for Celtic here. Hazard speeding forward on the dribble up to the edge of the box, slides it into Modric. Modric onto his left foot, looking to make space for the shot. Outside the right foot, it's in. Goalkeeper Joe Hart got a hand to it. He couldn't keep it out. The European champions showing their class. Bang, bang in the second half. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 2.
Again, it's a devastating attack from Real Madrid. Knocking the ball about, nice and patient. It comes into Hazard, he gets on the turn, takes a couple of players out. Modric making that overlap down the right hand side, and Hazard just waits to the perfect moment, plays it in front of him. It looked like Modric was going to hit it first time with his right foot, chops inside. I think Jens gets a toe to it, but he just can't quite clear it. and then he puts it on the outside of that right boot, and you know in that position it's hitting the back of the net. Joe Hart did get a touch there, but it was an incredible finish to an incredible move again from Real Madrid.
We were talking about it, the goal against Scotland, the outside of the right foot from closer range this time. Modric, he thought the chance had gone, just whips that right foot at the ball. Lovely connection with the outside of the right boot, and Joe Hart made a fabulous attempt to try and save it, got a hand to it, but it's ended up in the back of the goal. And there you go, I think it's 2 goals in the space of 3 or 4 minutes there for the European champions. That is why they are the European champions. 4 minutes. Vinicius Junior in the 56th minute, Luka Modric in the 60th minute. Carlo Ancelotti might finally enjoy his glass of red wine post-match after a visit to Celtic Park. Jota plays the ball down the left-hand touchline, looking for Taylor, intercepted, and it'll be a throw-in to Celtic. It's just clinical class attacking from Real Madrid.
Yeah, it is, and I did say in the first half, you wonder if, not taking those chances for Celtic would come back to haunt them, and it has. They started the second half well again, but Real Madrid just showing their class and the quality in the attacking threat. It's just sensational football, and when it comes back, even the one with Modric there, Joe Hart probably is 90% sure he's going with the outside his right boot into that side, so he can have an educated guess at it, and he reads it well. But it just shows you how good he is, that he's almost telling Joe Hart, I'm going to hit this with the outside of my right boot, I'm going to put it in the side net and try and save it if you like. He done that, got a touch there, but just not enough.
Looking worrying for Celtic now. They're giving the ball away again, and Real Madrid really are in the mood. They're leading Celtic by 2-0. Hazard plays it to Kroos, back to Chouameni. Giacomakis chasing back, got a little flick in the eye from Chouameni, who was trying to sort of hold him off. Celtic have won the ball back. Home fans telling Atate to move it on. Plays it wide to Juranovic, and then another pass goes astray, and Celtic have just slightly lost their way. And here's Vinicius Junior dribbling at high speed towards the Celtic defenders, plays it to Valverde. He waves Modric towards him, wants to run on the overlap, was going to use him as the decoy, then plays it to Modric, high floated cross to the far post, headed behind by Juranovic for a corner to Real Madrid. They're suddenly in cruise control, the European champions. Ladies from Seville, Conor McNamara.
It's still Sevilla 0, Manchester City 2. City have had a goal disallowed. They're defending to 2 here. Dolberg, who's come on attacking on the edge of the penalty area, but City defenders around him. And Phil Foden was offside, but he cushioned it down to Gundogan. Ball in the net, but the flag was up. Sevilla 0, City 2.
17 minutes gone, second half at Celtic Park. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 2. Real Madrid corner. In it comes, in swinger, dangerously dropping inside the 6-yard box. Rudiger looking for his first goal for Real Madrid, can't get on the end of the header. Joe Hart immediately grabs the replacement ball, spins it out in front of him, clears it long downfield. Maeda jumps for it, Modric goes down holding the side of his head. Maeda might get booked for that, in fact I think he does. And England's women have scored another goal tonight, Gary Flintoff.
They have indeed. 9-0. Lauren Hemp stabbing home from close range as they score a 10th. Pepper England again. They scored 10 last time they played Luxembourg. They've scored 10 again. England 10, Luxembourg 0.
And at least we got one of the goals on live this evening. Thank you, Gary. Commentary continues on Radio 5 Sports Extra, talking Sports Extra if the weather allows. Third test against South Africa, England against South Africa, series nicely poised at 1-1. Starts on Thursday, ball-by-ball commentary on Sports Extra on Test Match Special. The weather forecast for Thursday doesn't look great at the moment, which is a little bit of a concern. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 2, Manchester City 2-0 up away to Sevilla. England's women 10-0 up against Luxembourg in the Women's World Cup qualifier. And they've really, Real Madrid, James, have just taken the sting out of it completely, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. They've had a great lift from the goal, and I just think what would have happened had Celtic got themselves in front? Well, how much of a lift would they have got? Because it has kind of knocked the stuffing out of Celtic a little bit. They will continue to probe, but the last couple of times they've had a chance to counter. It's two bodies, 2 or 3 bodies. Usually it's 4 and 5, and they look a real threat. And naturally it is going to happen, but Real Madrid have responded excellently to going in front. They've knocked the ball about well. They look devastating on the counter-attack. Celtic just have to deal with it. Can they get a goal back? There's still time left in the game. Can they get a goal back and see if that disrupts the rhythm of Real Madrid?
Juranovic high up the field on the right hand side. Maeda back to Juranovic. Carter Vickers across to Moritz Jens with a low pass to Jota wide on the left. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 2. Real Madrid have reached the knockout stages of the Champions League in each of the last 25 seasons. They've never failed to get out of the group stages. They're leading Celtic by 2-0. Maeda, O'Reilly, Celtic trying to build on the right. Real Madrid get in there with Mendy. They should be able to clear it. Celtic player goes down. Goal in Seville, Conor McNamara.
Another goal for City, another goal for Erling Haaland. Sevilla 0, Manchester City 3 now. And again in the poacher's position after a low shot was parried by the goalkeeper. Foden drilled it in. Haaland tapped it in. And that is now 12 goals in his last 7 games for City. And it's 25 goals in his 20th game in the Champions League. Phenomenal. Sevilla 0, Manchester City 3.
Full time at the Bet365. Gary Flintoff.
Yep, 10-0. England win. 2 goals for Stanway, 2 goals for Bethany, England. Too many others to mention. USA next at Wembley. That'll be an event. England 10, Luxembourg 0.
Right, thank you, Gary. So Real Madrid leading by 2-0. Karim Benzema off injured in the first half. Currently third highest goal scorer along with Lewandowski in the Champions League. You wonder how many Haaland might get, don't you? If he stays fit.
Yeah, well, he's a goal machine, isn't he? He comes alive. He barely touches the ball, but he's such a goal threat, and he just panics. He just worries defenders just by his presence. You look at the build. He shouldn't be able to do what he does. It's just it should be a centre half. He should be a centre half.
I bet he'd be a good one.
Yeah, probably. But he's just such a goal machine. And I said this before the game. He will improve. There is no doubt about it. So that is a scary thought that he will get better.
James McFadden, former Scotland international, with us at Celtic Park. Celtic trying to get back into the game. McGregor, the skipper, bringing it forward wide to Jota. Touch with his left boot, works it back onto the right, drags it back onto the left. Now he gets the cross into the far post. Giakoumakis couldn't get there, and he's shoved, fell on Mendy in the back. Referee spotted it, and Real Madrid, look at that, Real Madrid defenders sort of celebrating good defensive play and keeping the clean sheet. Diogo Dalot, I saw doing that for Manchester United the other day as well. Don't really sort of associate that with Real Madrid.
No, you don't. But they've made a change at half time and brought, swapped centre backs over, brought Rudiger on for Militao because Giakoumakis was causing them problems. And Celtic are a threat on the attack. There's no doubt about it. So yeah, they will do that. I think that when it's clipped to the back post and it's Giakoumakis against Mendy, you're expecting Giakoumakis to go and win it. So he does well to defend it, get the foul, take the pressure off and stop that attack by Celtic.
Midway through the second half, Celtic 0, Real Madrid 2. Lights on mobile phones being switched on all around the stadium at the moment. They look like twinkling stars in the Glasgow night sky. The support has been terrific. It will be throughout the campaign.
They're singing a song about the victory in 1967.
The Lisbon Lions. I walked out of a different entrance actually on Saturday after the 4-0 win against Rangers. There is a very simple, framed, quite small photo of that team with the European Cup. It's so simple and effective and classy. It's a lovely touch, and it just reminds you of what the first British team ever to win the European Cup. Manchester United followed them the year later. Only 2 members of the squad for more than 10 miles outside Glasgow. It's an astonishing achievement.
It's absolutely incredible, and that will never happen again. A team, you look at the clubs all around the world, multinational, multicultural, that won't happen again. Tremendous feat.
Real Madrid playing a bit of keep ball down the left. Alaba is wide on the left, down by the byline. Crosses blocked by Carter Vickers, and the ball goes behind for a corner. I hear that Kyogo is warming up and getting ready to go for Celtic. He took that awkward shoulder knock early in the derby on Saturday. Celtic at home to Livingston at the weekend. Camavinga's going to come on for Real Madrid, and next week Celtic away to Shakhtar Donetsk. Their away games this season in the Champions League, because of the situation in Ukraine, will be played in Poland. Corner taken, and it's rolled back to the goal scorer of the second goal, Luka Modric. Played wide to the left, and McGregor's in there, knocks it into the shins of Vinicius, and that will be goal kick for Celtic. They've gone so quickly they didn't have time to make the changes. They are now going to make the changes. So for Real Madrid, Tchouaméni comes off, Camavinga comes on. So 22-year-old comes off, 19-year-old comes on. That just shows you the talent that France have at their disposal, thinking the World Cup coming up in a couple of months' time. Celtic are going to make a double change here, James, as you're scribbling. I'll keep talking. Kyogo will come on who's just been a wonderful player for Celtic since arrival last season. Triple change actually. David Turnbull's coming on and Aaron Moy is coming on, but those changes are going to have to wait. So Ange Postecoglou is going to make a triple change. 20 minutes to play. 5 Live Sport live at Celtic Park, also available on the BBC Sounds app. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 2. Maeda looking for a ball to O'Reilly, intercepted. McGregor's been so good at getting onto the loose stuff for Celtic tonight. Cross in, O'Reilly looping header, and it bounces harmlessly behind for the goal kick to Real Madrid. So let's see who's coming off. I presume Giakoumakis will, well, unless we're going to try and go 2 up top. So Matt O'Reilly is one of them. Do you know what I was thinking about him, James, in the first half? Playing for MK Dons at the start of this year, 21 years old, and here he is tonight up against Modric and Kroos.
He's been absolutely sensational for Celtic. I mean, sometimes you watch him and maybe he doesn't do a lot of eye-catching stuff, but he has been a tremendous signing for Celtic. And as you say, you know, from League One to Real Madrid in a year is absolutely incredible.
Hatate is also coming off. Giakoumakis coming off for Kyogo. Back to Seville, Conor McNamara.
And we're approaching the final quarter of an hour now. Still Sevilla 0, Manchester City 3. 2 goals from Haaland, who's on yet another hat-trick now, and he's got time to do it. Foden got the other for City. And Sevilla done and dusted. They've had a terrible start to the La Liga campaign. They are 4th bottom in the table, yet to win a game, and they're not coming back from this. Sevilla 0, Manchester City 3.
Celtic 0, Real Madrid 2. Celtic having the better chances right up until the point that Real Madrid got there first. That came in the 56th minute. Modric with the second in the 60th minute. Real Madrid on the ball. Chelsea losing 1-0 away to Dinamo Zagreb earlier on today. All the reaction, talking points, debate here on 5 Live Sport through until 10:30. Also in the Football Daily podcast, available for you on the BBC Sounds app tomorrow. We'll, with that bonus Champions League away days pod, our 2 teams in Amsterdam and Naples ahead of our commentaries tomorrow in the Champions League. Carvajal first time ball to Modric. Modric wide on the right, in the right back position for Real Madrid. Still had time under pressure to find the pass. Plays it across to Hazard. Real Madrid are just sort of, they're down in 3rd gear at the moment. Quite happy with the lead, quite happy with the possession. Still have the skills of Vinicius Junior wide on the left-hand side. Hazard settling more and more into the game. Loose pass from Camavinga, the 19-year-old who's on with his hair tied back in a bouncing ponytail. Kroos strokes the pass to Hazard. Little back heel flick to Camavinga. Camavinga makes his move down the left. Vinicius tries to knock it past Juranovic. He makes the tackle, and now all of a sudden it's Real Madrid looking for the quick throw on the left-hand side. Thrown in to Hazard. Hazard plays it back to Camavinga inside the Celtic half, across to Kroos. You get the feeling that Real Madrid just toying with Celtic a little now. Valverde created that first goal so brilliantly, wide to Carvajal. Real Madrid, James, totally in control, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They're just knocking the ball about in and around the back, and just their pass selection, their way to pass it at the safe side, making the players' minds up for them with the passing. And Celtic are just dropping, and you know that Real Madrid will just flick a switch and the tempo will change, and all of a sudden they'll have an opportunity from it, but they're in so much control at the minute.
Modric curling pass down the right, controlled by Camavinga, play back to Carvajal. Here's Modric again, lets the ball run across his body, plays it to Kroos to Camavinga, 30 yards out, fouled by Jota. Free kick for Real Madrid. Celtic just desperate to try and get that ball back. They are just being outmanoeuvred by a superior opponent at the moment. Absolutely no shame in that, and Celtic will fancy their chances, I think, of getting out of this group. Shakhtar Donetsk are leading 2-1 away to RB Leipzig. Their squad, Donetsk, obviously much changed because of the situation in their country. Leipzig not having the best of seasons in the Bundesliga. Next week, Celtic away to Shakhtar, Real Madrid at home to Leipzig. Free kick then for Real Madrid. David Alaba runs over it. Kroos rolls it to Modric. Stops it with his right boot. Back to Carvajal. Kroos dummies across with his right foot. Tries the Modric with the outside of the right foot. Not quite as accurate. Back it comes to Mendy. Mendy to Modric. Modric just has this game in the palm of his hand. Running operations. Kyogo putting Mendy under a bit of pressure, saw him coming, turned away from him. Little 1-2 with Toni Kroos. Mendy plays wide to Camavinga. Manchester City heading for 3 points this evening. away to Sevilla, leading by 3-0. Haaland has 2 and Foden has the other. Valverde played wide to Modric. Steady, rhythmic drumbeat you can hear in the background here at Celtic Park, actually in time with the Real Madrid passing. Celtic cannot get a kick at the moment. Camavinga back to Kroos. Kroos wide to Mendy. Mendy to Kroos. Kroos drives it diagonally high across to Vinicius. He's swapped sides for now. He's wide on the right. Valverde's in a central position. Turns away from Moyes. Splitting pass to the right. Vinicius just keeps it in play. Runs at Greg Taylor. Takes him on the outside, now into the penalty area. Still has the ball under his spell. 4 green and white shirts around him. Flicks it back to Carvajal. Carvajal to Modric. Modric outside of the right boot, looking for the run of Mendy. That pass ended up where Mendy should have been. Mendy had to scamper quickly to get there. That's how good Modric is. Camavinga back to Mendy. It's going to be some goal, I tell you, if this ball ends up in the back of the net. Celtic fans getting frustrated. Kroos' cross. Carvajal's knockback. Hazard scores. Unbelievable stuff from the European champions. Celtic could not get a kick. Pulled from side to side. Eventually the cross comes in. Wonderful layoff. And Hazard makes it Celtic 0, Real Madrid 3. Sheer class.
Well, you called it, Ali. It was a tremendous goal, and if you take it all the way back, they must have had the ball for 3 or 4 minutes, which is an eternity when you're chasing it and you're shuffling across and you're trying to put pressure on the ball. Tremendous play from Real Madrid. Vinicius running into the box. They recycle it, they don't force it, bodies round them. And I mentioned this the first half, they look for that little diagonal for the full-back or for the opposite wide man getting in at the back post. Carvajal gets in there, squares it across, simplest of finishes for Hazard. It's just a brilliant goal from Real Madrid, and Celtic just can't get a touch of the ball.
It's what Celtic do to so many teams domestically. They're having it done to them in this second half.
Yeah, they are. They are, you know. As I said, I was looking round saying Celtic need to try and get a touch of the ball soon, because they're just shuffling across, they're trying to put pressure on Real Madrid, they're just stroking it about, not forcing it again. Like I said, flick the switch and they're in and goal, and they're 3-0 up. It's incredible football.
Jota volley, cross, Kyogo on his knee. Oh God, that nearly crept in. Scrapes the outside of Courtois' post. Immediately Celtic on the attack. Sort of hopeful cross from Jota. Kyogo kind of hit him on the left knee, very nearly went in.
Yeah, it was good play. Jota down the left hand side, and Kyogo's strength is his movement. It is absolutely world class. He does well to get across the front. He has to improvise, but has Courtois scrambling, and that is better. Celtic need to try and hit back, because I know they're losing 3-0 and Real Madrid have been the better team, but Celtic played well in spells of the game.
Turnbull, chip ball looking for Kyogo. It's a straight one, too easy for Courtois to catch. It's beyond Kyogo. Marco Asensio getting ready to come on for Real Madrid. 13 minutes remaining in the game. Shakhtar Donetsk have a third goal away to Leipzig. Leipzig 1, Shakhtar 3. Manchester City 3-0 up away to Sevilla. Real Madrid 3-0 up on Celtic here. Benfica 2-0 up on Maccabi Haifa. Paris Saint-Germain pegged back after the Mbappe goals in the first half. They lead Juventus by 2-1. Salzburg 1, AC Milan 1. Chelsea beaten 1-0 away to Dinamo Zagreb. Rodrigo, the Brazilian, who scored those 2 heartbreaking goals for Manchester City fans in the semi-final second leg last season, is ready to come on as well. Celtic 3-0 down, still coming forward. Juranovic plays it back to Moy. Quietest it's been inside Celtic Park this evening, but the Celtic fans, I think, have to appreciate, they do, I'm sure, what they're up against.
Yeah, there's no doubt they will do. You know, the Celtic put in a really good performance tonight. They've just come up short against the holders of this tournament. Now, it tells you how far Celtic have come. They came into this game, they had so much belief and confidence that they could take the game to Real Madrid, that they could cause them problems, and they could create chances. They've done that, they've managed to do it, but just at the right moments, Real Madrid have shown their class, and this is a team that, as I said, they won the competition last year. Many didn't fancy them to do it, but they are a team full of world-class players.
Celtic fans are at it again. Standing ovation for Luka Modric, who's being taken off with just over 10 minutes to play. Another masterclass from him. I think I've said it a couple of times in the commentary. 37 years old, he's going to be on Friday. Smile and a wink from Ancelotti. What a footballer Modric is. And Vinicius Jr. gets a rest as well. Rodrigo plays on the left-hand side. Absolute pleasure to watch Modric live again this evening. Rudiger, slightly different type of footballer, still extremely effective, back in the right-back position, right-footed curling pass, headed forward by Greg Taylor. Real Madrid leading by 3-0, and Kroos plays it out to the left to Mendy. Haksabanovic, one of the new signings, the Montenegrin, Sead Haksabanovic, previously at West Ham, joined Celtic in the summer, is going to get a little run out late in the game this evening. Tomorrow, keep reminding you, on air from 5:30, Mark Chapman in the hot seat. Rangers start the group campaign away to Ajax, and then at 8 o'clock our commentary live from Naples. Ian Dennis and Jonathan Woodgate will bring you Napoli against Liverpool, with John Murray at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium bringing you Tottenham Marseille updates. Turnbull, nice pass to his left to Jota, little flick from Jota to beat Carvajal. Right-footed curling cross is headed away by Alaba. Aaron Moy, 31-year-old Australian international, stretches for it, plays it to Juranovic, cut back towards McGregor. McGregor had to fight to win that ball, so does Greg Taylor, does it, gets himself on his feet, plays it to Jota. Can Celtic score? Curling shot over the bar, half a chance.
It is, and it's, you know, it did get a little bit scrappy, but Celtic are winning the tackles. When it comes to Jota, Dyson Maeda just made a run to the back post, and he gets his head up and clips it towards the back post. He's all on his own, but Celtic again hitting back. The man that's just had the shot is coming off, and it's a chance for the home fans to see their new signing.
Yeah, Haksabanovic, 23 years old, one substitute appearance for the club so far in the League Cup against Ross County. Not being rude to Ross County, this is a slightly different footballing experience.
Yeah, just a bit. But it gives them a chance to go and, you know, get a run out, go on the ball, allow the fans to see them.
Yeah,
I think they were really excited by what they saw against Ross County. So yeah, it's a chance for them to see what he's like in this, you know, in this kind of occasion.
Rudiger put under a bit of pressure by that throw-in, plays it back to Courtois and says the pressure's all yours. Courtois says don't worry about it, I'll deal with it. And Kroos loses it inside his own penalty area now, and Rudiger shepherds the ball back to Courtois. So just a slight lack of concentration, a bit sloppy from Real Madrid, but Celtic can't quite take advantage. 8 minutes or so remaining in the game. Celtic well beaten in the second half. Goals from Vinicius Junior, Luka Modric and Eden Hazard. Just reading those names out tells you, you know, the class that Celtic have been up against this evening. Haksabanovic on the ball, needs a bit of support in his bright yellow boots, does well, holds on to it. Camavinga comes in, clumsy challenge, and Celtic win a free kick wide on the left hand side.
And Celtic have just continued to do what they've done from the start. You know, they're still pushing the full-backs forward, they're still trying to attack, they're still trying to, you know, play their way, and it's something that we've spoken about at length. The manager demands that off the players, and they will keep going. It doesn't matter if Real Madrid are still going to hit them on the break and look dangerous on the counter-attack. Celtic are still trying to find a way, potentially, however slim it is, back into the game. Maybe just to get a goal and get a reward for their good play, but they will continue to play this way no matter what the scoreline is.
James McFadden with us here at Celtic Park. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 3, Sevilla 0, Manchester City 3 at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan this evening. Erling Haaland looking for another hat-trick unless he's already been substituted by Pep Guardiola. Jones is just going to have a little flick and a look. Conor may well have mentioned it and I missed it. He's gone off, has he? So no Champions League hat-trick. First one for Manchester City for Haaland tonight. He is off. He will face Borussia Dortmund in a commentary next week. 4-1 to Shakhtar away to Leipzig. That is some result for Shakhtar Donetsk this evening. So Real Madrid and Shakhtar will be off to a winning start in this group. Courtois has the ball at his feet, the big Belgian. Chips it out to the left. Mendy controls it, knocks it past Maeda, collects it the other side. Again, moving at sort of 75, 80% there. Back to Courtois. Courtois this time decides to go long down the middle. Rodrigo's waiting for that ball to land. He's in an offside position. Flag goes up. Whistle blows. Free kick for Celtic. Not a single. I mean, Celtic fans, well, a couple possibly, I can see on the far side of the ground leaving. This stadium is still absolutely packed with the team 3-0 down.
Yeah, and as much as you don't want to see your team losing, they'll be you know, proud of the performance their team have put in.
Taylor's ball to Haksabanovic is a good one. Haksabanovic in the penalty area, drag back onto his left foot, shoots. Oh, Courtois, what a save at the near post. Haksabanovic tried to beat him for power. Courtois stuck an arm up and made the block. That was so nearly a wonderful goal for Haksabanovic.
It was, but it is an unbelievable save from Courtois because he does really well. Haksabanovic looks like he's going to cross it with his right, drags it onto his left and just fires at that near post. Courtois just puts up his right hand. The reaction and the power, the strength in his arm to keep that out. It's an incredible save.
Yeah, as if the outfield players, the attacking players weren't good enough. You've still got to try and beat Courtois as well. Kept that clean sheet for Atletico Madrid at this stadium back in November 2011. Here he is 11 years on doing the same for Real Madrid. So Celtic 0, Real Madrid 3. In terms of your Premier League action on the way this weekend, 3 o'clock commentary on Saturday. Actually, those of a Celtic and Rangers leaning will have spotted it's Brendan Rodgers against Steven Gerrard. Leicester Villa's our 3 o'clock commentary. We've got Manchester City Tottenham in full at 5:30, which should be fascinating. Sunday 2 games. Arsenal Everton kicks off at 2 o'clock. Crystal Palace Manchester United as our 4:30 commentary. I know Steve Crossman has done an interview with Ben White this morning that you'll hear on 5 Live's Premier League Sunday, which I'm told will be a good listen. Steve appeared on the Fantasy 606 podcast recording this morning. That'll be out on Thursday on BBC Sounds. James tells me he's not playing this season, which is disappointing because I know he was playing last season, but some other members of the family I think are involved, aren't they?
Yeah, my son plays it. My two sons play it. I go to that many games. I don't have time to be worrying about who I should sub and who my captain is. I understand how it works, I just don't have time to play it.
Camavinga on the ball for Real Madrid. 5 minutes remaining in the game. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 3, and Real Madrid third goal just quite incredible, as James was saying, had possession for 3-4 minutes without Celtic getting a kick and eventually picked their moment to score. Asensio wide on the right hand side, singing starting up again from the Celtic fans. Kroos plays it to Hazard. I think his performance tonight will have done him some good in the goal as well.
Yeah, Hazard's looked really sharp. He has, he struggled to get into the game at the start, as you could.
Layoff to Asensio, hits the shot to the near post. Joe Hart makes the save.
Yeah, Hazard's looked really sharp, looked like the Hazard of old, and he's having to play in an unfamiliar position straight through the middle as a number 9, but some of his touches have been great. He looks sharp, he looks fit, he looks lean, and that can only be a good thing for Real Madrid. And it's great to see because he's a terrific footballer.
Oh, yeah.
He's a joy to watch when he's at full flight.
Callum McGregor plays to Haksabanovic on the edge of the Real Madrid box. McGregor continues the run, gets it back, cut back here to Maeda. Had a swing with his left foot, made contact, skewed it wide. Goes behind for a goal kick to Real Madrid. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 3. Just going to try and bring Roddy in. What have you spotted, Roddy, on the BBC Sport website there?
Yeah, it's on the BBC Scotland website.
Oh, yeah.
36 years and 362 days. Luka Modric is the oldest player to score for Real Madrid in the European Cup or Champions League since Ferenc Puskas did it in September 1965. And of course Puskas is Andrew's former manager.
That's right, managed him at South Melbourne. Also enjoyed a very good night in Scotland, didn't he, back in 1963 in the European Cup. Real Madrid won 2 of their European Cups in Scotland. The famous win against Eintracht Frankfurt. I think Puskas got 4 that night and Di Stefano got 3. They also won it with the magical Zidane volley against Leverkusen at Hampden Park in 2002. So there's a big link between the two clubs. Real Madrid getting the 3 points tonight. Closing stages of the game here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. On air through until 10:30. Manchester City getting their win 3-0 up away to Sevilla. Chelsea beaten by a goal to 0. And here's Carter Vickers coming forward to Maeda. Celtic keep going. Juranovic, who actually in the last Celtic move I think must have covered 100 metres down the right hand side in like 10 or 11. I mean, incredible pace, incredible energy at the end of the game. Ferland Mendy, lovely ball with his left foot to Rodrigo. Rodrigo stepping over, right footed curler, just wide, could have been 4-0, goes behind for the goal kick.
Yeah, it could have been in Juranovic. The man you're just speaking about is on the attack and he manages to get back just in line as he hits the shot, and Real Madrid have looked good on the counter. I have to say, I think Celtic have had as many good chances as Real Madrid. They just haven't been clinical.
Maeda down the right, cross comes in. Haksabanovic trying to attack it at the far post, headed behind by Rudiger, corner for Celtic.
Listen to this place. They're losing 3-0. It's singing for the manager. That shows you the appreciation these fans have got from what they've seen tonight.
2 minutes of added time. The roof will come off. We always say it if Celtic score here. Moyes curling ball. Kyogo looks for the flick on. Thibaut Courtois behind him, punches it away. Camavinga, first time clearance up towards the halfway line. Greg Taylor intercepts it. Knocks the pass to Haksabanovic, runs into Camavinga, play on, says the referee. Turnbull, back to Haksabanovic. Oh, he just tries to slide it to McGregor, gets it there in the end. McGregor, back to Haksabanovic, sliding challenge on him. I think it was a clean one. Alaba takes the ball, referee says, get yourself up, and the ball goes behind for a goal kick to Real Madrid. They lead Celtic by 3-0. Do Manchester City have a fourth in Seville, Conor McNamara?
They do. 2 minutes into stoppage time. Sevilla 0, Manchester City 4. The demolition is complete. Ruben Diaz tapping in from close range after another slick build-up. City, many people's favourites to go win the tournament. They are starting in style. Sevilla 0, Manchester City 4.
Thank you, Conor. James McFadden has just taken the headphones off just to have a listen in the roar to the noise. Unbelievable support for Celtic, who really were having the better of the chances right up until Real Madrid scored the first. Then Real Madrid have taken them apart, but they can do that to absolutely any team. Closing stages of the game, probably about 30-40 seconds to go. Celtic 0, Real Madrid 3. Celtic away to Shakhtar next week in their next Champions League game. Here's Valverde, Real Madrid keeping it at the moment inside the Celtic half. Flick back to Carvajal, 5 times Champions League winner. He'll want a 6th. So
sorry, this is incredible.
Yeah,
this is a full stadium watching the team lose 3-0.
Yeah.
And they are going crazy for the manager. It shows you what this man has done in 1 year.
Yeah.
1 year, it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, the great quote from him yesterday, about expectations is, why would I sort of burst people's bubbles? They have enough of that in their normal lives. They come to Celtic Park to be entertained. They've been entertained tonight. In the end, they've been beaten by the European champions. Absolutely no disgrace in that. Callum McGregor with a rasping shot against the post could have given Celtic the lead. They had other chances in the game, and then suddenly 2 goals in 4 minutes, and Real Madrid were away in the second half. Vinicius Junior with the first. Luka Modric, what a fabulous player he is. Obvious thing to say with the second goal to make it 2-0, and Eden Hazard looking sharp again, got the third. Really entertaining evening of football, and James, I can tell you've enjoyed it, but you've really been struck by this support right at the end for Celtic, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been a terrific game, a really good performance from Celtic, created really good opportunities, particularly in the first half. Unlucky not to go in front, but the crowd have stayed behind to show their support for the team, to show their appreciation for the job that this manager has done for them. He keeps speaking about it won't change. He's got his style of football. They won't change from it. They'll approach every game the same. They'll go and take on Real Madrid. They'll go and see and test themselves against them. What he would have learned tonight is they're a very good side. They are well on the way. And to get the appreciation, the adulation from the crowd, it reinforces that for him. Terrific performance. Just unlucky or unfortunate, to be on the end of a 3-0 scoreline. But this club is going in the right direction, and I've never seen so many fans stay this long after a defeat ever.
Roddy Forsyth, what did you make of it?
Well, for me, the turning point was Maeda's miss just after half-time, because Celtic had come out the way they had come out in the first half. They were looking as likely to score. It was harder for him not to score than it was to put it behind Courtois. That said, look at the fans on that side. Celtic are taking
Chris
a bow.
is applauding the Celtic fans.
My goodness.
And Courtois and Modric and all of them. They all are. Roddy.
I was about to say that when we looked at this group when it was drawn, we never doubted that Real Madrid would qualify. Celtic were 4th seeds. It was going to be a hard shift for them, but Leipzig looked vulnerable. They'd been beaten by Rangers in the Europa League semi-finals last season. If Rangers could do it, Celtic felt they could do it. Now the group has been burst open by Shakhtar Donetsk winning Leipzig, and the pressure is on Celtic next week in Poland.
Seems strange to say it, and it seems strange to hear it. Celtic have been beaten by 3 goals tonight, but it's been a very special night at Celtic Park, and we have watched Real Madrid in action, a very special team. 14 times European champions, they've beaten Celtic by 3-0.